Woo-hoo.
Only a few minutes. Like we've
That's
been
a
better about
short
being on
one, though.
time.
You did the short
Yeah, yeah, I
one.
did the short one because
Wow.
we didn't have
Listen,
time. We were already
no,
late.
no,
So
listen. So what? You're already late. Listen, there's nothing that lets you really understand that it's a Friday unless you hear that mix. You know what
I
I
know.
mean?
I was
Yeah.
just trying to get us because I felt like it was
Uh,
already
uh,
late,
well, yeah,
already going.
you were already late. I am waiting to hear the music. Okay,
Ugh,
everybody out there has a different thing to know that. Okay, it's Friday. We're hearing that stuff. Like you remember back in the
I
day
know.
when it's Friday night. You're gonna go out, and it was just like you turn on the radio, and like that certain song would come on the weekend. You say, okay, it's the weekend. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Well, we'll have to we'll try to get that. I was like, fuck, we're already late. We're gonna get going. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
uh, but hey, we made it, and it's
Yep.
Friday.
It's funny.
So hey, grab your beverages, folks. Let's sit down there, grab your favorite beverage, and let's have a little bit of discussion about some streaming topics. We have some topics that we're going to talk about. The K app. We'll talk about that early in the show.
Mhm.
And then we'll always take questions. So if you've not watched the show before, we take your questions over on the side chat. So post those over there. We may not answer it immediately, but we'll kind of circle back around to those because Albin's sure he highlights them so that I don't miss them. So we circle back around there. If you've not watched the show before, what we do is we try to talk about the topics that you're not going to hear at other places. We talk about things uh, uh, that very few shows, especially on YouTube, are going to talk about. We look around and we look on blogs and we different forums and websites. Uh, yeah. So
You're
yeah,
welcome, Eddie.
yeah, you got to have your shirts, Albin in his shirts. So we try to talk about those topics and we try to give you a little information to help you save money. That's what we're here to help you is to save some cash. So we got C-Man jumping in on the show. So awesome to have
Mhm.
him. Welcome,
Guys,
C-Man.
can y'all hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah, we hear you.
4x4 or what's it?
Yeah,
What's
you
it?
hear us, right? See, man, you hear us?
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, I hear you guys
Okay.
fine.
Okay,
Oh,
okay, okay. All right, all
okay.
right, all right. Just double check. So we'll
I'm not
talk
that
about those
old, Robin.
topics. We'll talk about those
But I'm
topics.
the
We'll hit
grumpy
all.
old man. That's why.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
true. Yeah, sometimes you rant. And we'll also talk about some things to help you save money. Or things that may impact your streaming quality content as well as pocketbook. So that's the show. That's what we talk about. Again, the panel is open for people that would like to join our show. We are always open for having guests. So if you'd like to jump on the show, you're more than welcome to join. So let me start with Alban. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Waiting for it to rain here. It looks like it's gonna pour outside. But otherwise, I'm good. I'm happy to see everyone out here. I'm happy it's Friday.
Yeah.
Uh, and get the show going.
Yeah. All right. And C-Man, how are you?
Everything's good here. It's just hot as hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a.
My son said that, and he said it was hot. He's
Oh
like,
yeah.
"Oh,
Yeah, it's
Dad."
109 here now.
He said,
Oh
"Dad, it's
God,
terrible."
no,
He says it's terrible.
no,
Yeah, it's brutal.
no, no. That's brutal. That is.
Yeah. Well, hey, today was our first. We actually had a cool day. It was like 68, 69
Wow,
as a
God.
high. That was the high and cloudy.
wow.
So I actually had to shut the windows because it got a little chilly in here. I was like, a little chilly, ain't it? A little bit. I'm a
Ah,
little cold. But
welcome to Canada.
yeah, we actually had some. It was 90 all week. It was like
Yeah.
in the 90s all week, so it was hot. But now it's kind of cooled off.
We got a cold front coming in next week. We're going to be in the 80s.
Oh,
I thought you were gonna. I thought you were gonna say the 90s.
So, well, high
yeah.
80s.
Wow.
So, bless you and being down there in the south.
Hmm.
Like I said, my son's down there, and he he struggles. It is
I,
hot.
I can't even think of dealing with 109. I can't. I'd want to kill somebody. You know.
Yeah, it's
You
Your
can't go
son's in
outside.
Houston, right, Dabs?
huh?
Your
Yeah.
son's in Houston.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes. Outside of Houston. About I think he's about 45 minutes or so outside of there.
that's
And he said,
brutal because of the humidity too.
yeah, that's what he was complaining about.
Mm.
He says whoever the hell says that Texas is a dry heat is full of shit.
Yeah,
He
they're full
goes,
of shit.
he goes, it's humid. He goes, I walk outside to sweat. I was
Oh
like,
man.
so all right, but so hey, let's get going.
Okay.
So we got so we'll go ahead and start with the K app. We'll start with some Kodi talk. We'll talk about some of the big things. Let me see here. Oh, hold on a second. I hate it when it does that. Let's see now. Let me try to share my screen here. Let's try that again. Hold on. This thing's trying to be a. Come on. All right, hold on. Let me share this and then.
Nope.
No, I have to. It's because I.
Okay.
It's the way that when I have two browsers, the way that it works, I have to.
So why not just
Whatever.
use one?
It's because I like all these show stuff to be on a separate browser, and it makes it easier. So when I'm jumping between the browser of the show and the browser of whatever we're talking about, is easier for me.
Okay. All right.
So this came out. I thought this was a pretty important thing for some of us people that are willing to take a chance or to push the limits on stuff. Nexus, which is Kodi 20. What would this be? 22? 21.
No,
You're right.
20.
21. So the Kodi 21 Nexus, the Alpha 3 has been released. Now, this is not going to be, you're not going to get this through the Google Play Store. This is a development project. So it is kind of what called the cutting edge. It is prior to its official release. So there still may be bugs in this. There may still be issues. So I don't suggest people to try it. For some of us that are more comfortable running two setups like a fork
Mhm.
or trying different things or being not scared if some crashes happen, or would try some of this. So Alpha 3 is out. I've been running Alpha 2 for a couple months now, and I find it to work pretty well. Especially the Dolby Vision for me is one of the big perks to 21. But Alpha 3 came out, and you can get this in through you have to get this through the Kodi website, and you'll have to go to, I think it's under pre-release. So you go to Kodi, will go to Android pre-release, and you can download it. So you have to sideload this. You will not get it through the Google Play Store or somewhere like that. But it's a new update, is a new step getting closer to the official release, and I'm looking forward. I haven't really installed this one because again, this was just it says September 20. Oh, this is the date is incorrect because look,
Right.
it says September 18th 22, because this was just
Right.
posted
But wait,
today.
Nexus. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was
That was posted
today.
today, so that date is incorrect.
But what
So
about
they
the things that
Yeah, look at
they
it has
added?
it's in here version 20. So this is, I don't know if this
No,
is
but if you
right.
scroll down, the things that are that were updated.
Yeah. Because I've been looking to find the release notes for this.
Yeah, I thought it was. I thought that was the release because it is the
It
Alpha
is
3.
Nexus. It's Nexus
Yeah.
Alpha 3. You're right. But that doesn't seem right. Because see, here's Nexus 2. So Omega. Oh, no, this is
Oh
Omega.
man. Oh,
We're on Omega.
You're on the wrong one.
20.
So it's Omega. So that would be 21 now. 21
That's
is correct.
21. Yes.
It is 21, but the Alpha
So
3 came
wait,
out.
20 wasn't Omega. 20 is Omega. 21 should be
No, 21 is
no.
Omega. Nexus is
21 is
20.
Nexus
Matrix
is
was 19.
20. Okay. Right.
Yes. Nexus is 20.
Yeah. So for us people that are on the side chat, they're like, yeah, we've even had this installed, so we understand. So they're just code names that they go by. So Kodi has not released the the release notes yet. Usually they'll post it in the news, and they have yet to do it. So Alpha 3 came out yesterday. So you can install that again. You can go through the Kodi website and download it and install it. But I have been finding 21 to run pretty smoothly. And I'm enjoying it. I don't know, C-Man, I know you tend to test out a lot of stuff. Have you been running 21?
I'm using it too. I've been using it for a while, and like you and I spoke about briefly earlier, the binaries, they all install ASAP.
Yeah.
Like input stream adaptive and all those, and whereas there's some kind of glitch in 20.
Yeah. In 20,
So your
maybe it
EPG can
installs.
set up on 21 immediately.
Yes. Yes. That input stream adaptive, or what's it? Input stream adaptive. There's 3 of them. There's 3 files that it installs, three module scripts that install to run a lot of live content and your EPG stuff. So they have to have those. And sometimes if you're installing a build on Android, sometimes almost anytime you install a build, you're going to see that input stream will pop up that it's going to say it needs to install, because the version that's running on Windows, the module that's running on Windows, is a different version that runs on Android. So if most builders create on a Windows PC or something like that, they'll create the build, zip it up, and then they put it out there. You install it on an Android. So those files depends on the operating system. So that's why you'll always see those 3 files update or install right off the bat when you install a build. 20, C-Man and I've talked about, there's a lot of times we install a build and that'll fail for 1 or 2 days. It'll like start, download, and fail. Start, fail. And no rhyme or reason whenever it's going to decide to update. So 21 seems to install those pretty quick. Now there is one of those 3 files that says that it's not compatible with 21 the last time I installed it. But for the most part, I'm running 20. I was running Alpha 20 or Alpha 2 as of yesterday. And that's what you've been running, is Alpha 2 of this. And you said it's been running fine. So now we got Alpha 3. And I'm not sure. People over on the side chat, maybe we'll have people put which version that they're running, if they're running a 21 or 20 or even 19.
Yeah.
Maybe they'd be interested to see what version of Kodi that people are running. It'd be interesting to see what version people are running, because they all work. And it just depends on some of the features. But I find that Dolby Vision works great with
It does.
21.
I was about to mention that.
Yep.
On 21.
So yeah, I just can't. And it seems that Kodi's always slow about giving these release notes, though. They almost every time it'll take a day or 2 before they'll actually update this. So it was what, June 18th is when Alpha 2 came out. So the other one just came out yesterday or last night. So let me glance over here. Let's see how many people. What are people? So Eddie's got 19 and 20. Fred is running 20 and 20.
You see how fast he's able to respond now, right?
I see that. Yeah, Mr. got internet now.
His new name is Fast Eddie.
To be fair, if someone says which version should I install, I would tell them 20.2. If you're going to install it, that's the version to install. That is the most stable version. So that's what you want to run. When running 21 as an alpha, there's a risk to things. Now it's not going to blow up your device. It just could crash or have weird things that could happen. As we see, most people are running 20.2. Beach being the only one still running. What's that? Isengard, that would be 14, or what would be 14? And what's the 14th letter in the alphabet? I got to run back to
UD running 14.3.
Yeah. So,
hey, but like you talked about before, Dabs, on 20.2, it seems like there's still crashes after long pauses.
100%. It times out. I think that it's in there on purpose. And I think they put it in there as a timeout. That if you pause, and this is on the official release, like I said, all 20, I should say, it'd be all the versions of
Yeah,
20.
yeah,
If you
all of 20.
pause, a
Uh-huh.
movie or a show for a long period of time and you walk away, you go get your dinner and you're this and that. Let's say 5 minutes, because it's
But
not
let's
real
say,
quick. It's
okay.
But if say you go and you're doing stuff and you get sidetracked, you come back and Kodi will be closed. Kodi's closed, and you're back at your home screen of whatever device you're running. It's going to be
Yeah,
sitting there. And when you go and hit, go back into Kodi, it won't. Before, Kodi would always be there, or as soon as you hit it, it never really closed. It would like
Hmm.
come right back, and you're right back where
Right.
you were.
Right.
Now it like completely closes Kodi, crashes it out, and if you've been in a movie and you've progressed a certain spot,
Hmm.
it won't remember it.
It won't
You
remember because it
exactly.
timed
because
out.
it
No
crashed.
playback.
Nope.
But guys, have any of you done it on files on your own network? You know that are not being streamed from the outside.
No.
Because
No.
I remember me working with it. I remember how it would always come back. But if I paused it from a file that I had on on the device or at home network, it would never. It could stay there all day and night.
No, now that I haven't tried.
Not that.
No.
Yeah.
No. And like
Give
I
that a
said,
try
unless you
if
tried it
you
on
want.
20, if you tried
Right.
it on 20, because it
Uh huh.
used to prior, you could pause it and it
Hmm.
was almost like it would run, it would stay on the background sitting there. But I think
Okay.
with 20, I feel that they probably did that as to help with resources on whatever device you're on, because
Right.
you if you think about it, it's probably smarter to do that, to actually
Hmm.
close the app. I don't really like the time because I don't think it's long enough, but I
Right.
think that
That's
it's
not long enough.
probably when you're developing and you're writing this, someone that's in the development side say, yeah, hey, after 5 minutes, let's
Hmm.
close it, because that could be a resource that is just sitting there being held up, and
Right.
you're on a low end device. That's a resource that's being chewed up that can't be doing other things. So it probably was put there on purpose. I'm not a fan of it because if I walk away and I go start doing something and I come back and I was halfway through a movie or a show, it's crashed out, and then I got to go all the way back into it. And then I've got to like, oh shit, where were we at on that? We're like 20,
Hmm.
15, 20 minutes in. Um, I love, I love the starting right where I was at. But that if you close Kodi properly, it will remember your spot. But it's the crash,
Right.
the force close, the stop it.
D-
That's when you
Does
don't.
it? Does it? Well, no, because I don't know where it's reading it from. Because like I know like how the track would scrabble stuff for you. So I could be watching something in Kodi
Mhm.
on one machine, stop it, and then go to a different device, and then continue watching it. Like I could go
Yeah,
to my Plex and continue watching it from where
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah. We
stopped it.
track with
Okay.
Scrabble. Yep, yep. That's
Yeah.
that's all. But
But that has nothing to do with Kodi that doesn't have a track account linked to it or
yeah,
anything.
even if you had a track account, because you got to think about it, it's not calling back to track constantly. It calls back to
No,
track usually at the
when you
end
close it,
of whatever.
when you're
Yeah, when
closing
you close out is usually
or
when it
pause it
calls out.
or
Right.
something.
Because if you think about it, if it was constantly calling out to track, like he's at 10 minutes, he's at 12 minutes, he's at 13
Hmm.
minutes, that would be too much.
Right.
So
Okay.
that's why a lot of times I tell people and they'll say, oh, I didn't remember. I'm like, did you close it?
Hmm.
Did you close Kodi, or did you crash out of Kodi?
Yeah.
Because
Right.
if you close it, hit exit, power down, or
Hmm.
whatever your menu says, then
Yeah.
it's fine. But if you just say, if like a Fire Stick, you hit the home button on a Fire Stick, crash. It's close. It
and
crashes it out.
and I got a question for you. When you have that crash Fire Stick, which is your easiest way of getting out of it?
What you mean?
to be able to either reset the fire stick or anything like that. When
Well,
when you're hitting anything, nothing is happening.
oh, if nothing's happening, well, just to walk over and pull the power if nothing's working.
No,
Yeah,
I'll give
that's
you
it.
another. I'll give you
Okay.
another one. Hit the torque button,
Yeah.
and then you could tell it power down, or you could restart.
Oh, that comes from a man to want to get out of the fucking chair.
Of course, you know.
Uh,
Why would you want to get them under a chair and have to search and try to find a power plug to pull out? There's no need.
Yeah. Hey, I see Daz has got an idea of why this might be having an issue, and this is a good point. Daz says it's not Kodi crashing, but debris services that kick pause connections. That's a
So maybe
that's
ah,
that's why. So maybe
that's
that's why
very likely.
on the local machine it doesn't.
That's very likely. Now I haven't
that's a good
tested it.
point.
That could very well be the case because again, you don't want all those connections or those resources being hogged up, and the debris
Hmm.
service could easily
Yeah,
say,
stop you.
"Hey, we got to get rid of you because you know you
Hmm.
can't have too many of those dead pause connections because it
Right.
slows down your whole network." Daz, that's a very good thing. So
Yeah.
that's why having on the show, because we don't have all the answers, we'll give you our opinion and how our experiences. But that's very well could be the case. And maybe when the debris services kicks out, maybe that's
And
what's causing Kodi to crash out because Kodi is closed when you come back. It'll be like,
hmm
it's not open no more and do it.
right.
Um,
And then
oh,
that's why it could be open if it's still on the
yeah,
local
yeah, yeah,
machine.
yeah. You're right.
You
You're right.
know.
Oh, when you talked about how to close out of things, now this is for people with
Yeah.
NVIDIA Shields, and a lot of people don't know this. So if you have an NVIDIA Shield and say your Shield or whatever app you're running is crashed, do folks know if you hit the circle button, not the thumb where the
Hmm.
navigation, but the one
Right.
that's a circle, you hit that twice, it shows you all the
Oh,
applications that
apps
you
that
have
are open.
open.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can
And
close
then
them.
you can go through and close applications. It'll have an X. It'll show you the application have an
Hmm.
X, and you can close any of those applications because
Yeah.
maybe an application is hanging. So you hit the
Hmm.
button twice, the circle. Now again,
Hmm.
you've got what's it back, and then circle is the one over. I don't have a
Hmm. I don't know if I
I
can.
don't have a remote right here with me.
I do. I'm trying to. There it is.
There it is. So it's the one there on right by his index finger, that little circle. So hit
Yeah.
that twice. It will show you all the applications that are currently running. You can close those. It also is really handy if I'm wanting to jump from one application to the other.
Yeah.
If
To jump across.
if I
Yeah.
have one and I can hit it, and say I have TV Mate running, and then I open up something else, I can hit that double and I see the applications, I can jump over to that other application, do whatever I need to do, and then double click it, and then I see TV Mate, jump right over and open it, and TV Mate never closes.
Hmm.
So that is a trick for some folks that may have a Shield that you
Yeah.
may or may not know. That is a handy trick on closing out of applications or jumping from one application to the other, as long as they've been open. It won't
Hmm.
help you if you don't have that application open. It won't help. Um, Let's see, what is there's Mr. Carl.
Hey.
Hey, Carl's more than welcome to jump on if he'd like to jump on. Hit
Yep.
up Auburn, or
Yeah.
I could try to send a link, but hit up Auburn if you want to come on here. Stop trashing. Hey, and I'm
Hey,
not
Carl.
trashing. Peter, you know me. I got more love than I can explain for the K app. I love it to death, but there are pros and cons, and again when we doing it. Um
And I
so
wasn't even trashing it today. That's
I
what's
know, not yet,
surprising.
not yet. You do have a little section that you're going to be able to pump up your Plex.
Oh, of
Everybody
course,
have a
but
drink of beer. So we went on too long, but Alpha 3 is out. Check it out. Like I said, C-Man and I have been running it. I know a lot of other people have been running it, and I'm happy with it so far. And it's definitely one to, if you're willing to kind of take a little chance. And if you're a person complaining about Dolby Vision not working, Dolby Vision works just fine. Um, we've got a segment into this show here that now is this show in Auburn?
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So we have a section in
But you
one
have
of
okay, but you have a thing on top there. It's what
yeah,
I
well,
can't see what it is. You have to hit your F11.
what's it? What do you mean
Okay.
something's up here? Can you
No,
see the
no, it's
question?
okay.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So this is questions that have been asked in Streaming Matters room.
Oh, okay. You're doing it that way. I got
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I got
yeah,
you.
yeah. So, and we highly suggest people to do it. So these are some questions that came up over the last week or two, and thought we're going to grab those questions, throw them on the show. We'll talk about them because this is our beloved. It's where this show started, is on this topic on using this software. So Evan asked a question today, and he says he was watching the replay of the show of the week before, and says he's unable to play movies with Real to Brid with Cox Cable. And as soon as the VPN is on, it works perfectly tied in my cell and Wi-Fi. It also works. So this is something that we've talked about the last couple weeks, and I don't know if C-Man, if you've ran into this with using Kodi. More and more ISPs are blocking more and more items on or through Kodi, and Cox Cable as well as other cable companies are blocking more websites. It seemed once Evan was using a VPN, he found that he was able to access Real to Brid. Another key thing that sometimes people find is throttling for your ISP. So you may be able to access the content that you're trying to get, but then it may stutter every 5 to 10, 15 seconds. That is throttling. That's where your ISP doesn't block the website, but they just make it very clunky for you to discourage you from using that website. If you find this is happening to you, you may need to use a VPN to work around it. Um, there's plenty of VPNs out there. We don't sell VPNs on this show we're not here to promote this one over that one. That's on you to decide all that stuff. But if you're finding a lot of buffering issues, or you go to certain things are not opening for you and they're opening for everybody else, very possible that your ISP is blocking that URL and that VPN might be tested. And there are some free VPNs that you can always try to just test. But I'm in a place now that I think that if we're in this hobby, we need to have a VPN as an option.
I
You may not,
agree 100%.
yeah, you may not need to use it all the time, but it needs to be an option.
I don't have any issues with RD,
Mhm.
but the IPTV, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're blocking more and more URLs, and a lot of times some people will dog out certain this live content provider and that live. A lot of times it could be your ISP blocking that particular URL. Is that Carl? He jump
Yep.
in?
Yeah, I got him already.
What's up, my man?
Hey guys, how you doing?
What's up?
Hey, Carl.
How you doing?
Stranger?
Hey, I know, I'm terrible, aren't I? I do apologize.
No. You're a busy man. You're a very busy man. And
I'm just trying to do life.
yeah, 100%. You got other irons in the fire, so 100%.
I've got lots of things and lots of fires.
Yeah,
Not necessarily burning, but
yeah, I was
they're all
gonna say,
there.
there's medicine for that.
Hey, C man, how you doing? How you all been?
Hey,
I'm
how you doing,
good,
bro?
Carl. How are you, buddy?
I'm good, thank you.
Good to see you.
Yeah,
And
and
again,
you.
anybody that doesn't know Carl, he is this is a guy that is IT. I don't want to. This is our IT coding guru. He has been in this line of work. I mean, I'll let you, Carl. You explain who you are and what you're, because I know that I don't want to be making light, because I know that you have a lot of certificates. Or
Which one do you want? Do you want the business answer, or do you want the third party world answer?
Yeah, whatever. I mean, you can use. I mean, you're our.
So
I mean,
I've been around for a long time.
yes.
I've been in tech for a long time. It's my career. It's what I do outside of our hobby, and I've been doing it since '96. And I just do lots of fumbling around and touching of new technology, and it works. And you know, I've made hobbies that, you know, other people consume. So yes, I've been involved in XBMC, or, you know, and then Kodi. I had a successful retailer. I was a
Yeah.
box seller at one point.
Way
That's
back in
how
the
I met.
day.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
how I met a lot of people. Actually, to be
Yeah.
fair, you know, I was very, very lucky to be involved in that quite early on, before the days of Amazon Fire Sticks and
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, being able to buy things cheaply through AliExpress or through you know, Amazon. There wasn't many places to buy them, and you know, I set up a retailership. I was one of 3 people in the UK that could sell and support Minix devices. They were very, very powerful devices back in the day. And then, you know, I decided that whilst it was going well, there's obviously a lot of questionable thing around it, and you know, the authorities were closing in on suppliers. You know, Droid Sticks that became then Entertainment Box. You know, they got raided. I was potentially facing it, so I decided to close up and just sort of focus on having fun side of things. And then you guys created, you know, Bob. You asked me to get involved. You asked me to get involved. I get involved.
We gave you all kinds of work trying to figure that shit out.
Yeah. Like, oh, we can't make this thing go fast. Can you make it go fast? I'll have a look. Oh yeah, here you go. Oh, wow, that's really fast. So yeah, I just kind of got involved with Bob and helped out. Obviously, I knew the Noobs and Nan team, and I've been around in, you know, mashup days and all that kind of stuff, and I met a lot of people that way. But you know, I really sort of helped out around Bob, and from that, you guys kind of speared me on to say you should do this as a thing. So that's when I created antisocial hosting, and that's what a lot of people put their trust in, and they put their trust in me as a person that can help them, whether they use me or not. And I have a load of globally diverse servers and offerings, and you know, I put people in touch with hosting providers that will host their content for them, so that they are, you know, safe from DMCA private eyes and all that kind of stuff. And I help out where I can.
And you're very and on your professional side, you stay in with security, internet security, and that kind of stuff. So that's your wheelhouse. That's what you know. And there's a lot of times that I'll lean to you and be like, "Can you explain this to me?" Because I'm by far no expert in a lot of the stuff, and I'll just say, can you explain to this? And you'll say, well, this and that. There was a while back ago when we were talking about live TV content providers. And I'm like, is there a way around that? And you're like, well, let me tell you what the ISP is doing. And I understood it better. And I was like, so that's the problem. Because I was like thinking, we could easy way around that. And then you're like, well, not necessarily. Not necessarily.
Yeah. So my job is I'm a manager now. I'm less techie, more managerial, but I'm responsible for an email security company and look after, you know, the operations team that power that company. And so I still get involved in quite a lot of IT security structured work, but more from a managerial perspective. But I have this unique ability of being able to take something very technical and not dumb it down, but explain it to all levels of people. So whether you're
here's all levels right here.
Whether you're a technical engineer or whether you're
same here. Carl goes above and beyond.
Hey, there's been plenty of messages I know from you or me.
Above and beyond for me.
Middle of the damn night.
I just the thing is I don't sleep very well. You know, I've got my health issues like a lot of people, and you know, I wake up in the middle of the night, and I'm one of these guys that are obsessed with looking at my phone. My wife would kill me for admitting that, but I do. I like to look at my phone just to make sure that I'm not missing anything. And you know, obviously, my friends, you know, Seaman and you know, Butcher and you, Orbin, and everyone else that I know. I talk to people in different time zones to me. So when you guys message, you know that I'll pick it up when I pick it up. But if I'm awake, I'll reply, and then we'll start having a conversation, and then I forget to go back to bed, and then suddenly it's like really late.
Yeah.
So, I just see Redneck put, I'm still waiting for the new release of Just for Him. Yeah, so I released Just for Him, which was an early XXX add-on.
Yeah.
But there are far better ones out there now than what I can do.
Well, you did Just for Her, wasn't it? Just for Her and Just
Oh,
for
was-
Him,
Yes, I did.
yeah, I remember those.
because it was for
I
John.
I did Just for Him, which was based on John, because that was that guy that
Yeah, I
messaged
remember.
him, was like, John, fucking yeah.
Yes, I know. I actually still got him on Facebook.
And then I did the male version, well, the female version for men, for women.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
you could, women could also enjoy XXX content and look at men.
And
which
lots
was
of women
really-
do. Lots of
Yeah,
women
it
do.
was really strange having to, sit there and code, scrapers for porn sites where the content was gay porn.
Yeah.
And my wife walked in and she went, I'm not even going to ask, and just left.
This is for other people, I swear.
Yeah. This is completely for other people. I'm not looking at gay porn. And she just looked at me and she went, I'm not going to ask, and then walked out. And I did that thing of, when you're trying to explain yourself when
Yeah,
she's
I've been
leaving
there.
the room.
I've been
I wasn't doing anything. I don't know. And then I suddenly went, what am I doing with my life? And then just carried on looking at gay porn and carried on fixing Just for Her.
Yeah. Well, and again,
but
with those sites, you're having to code and to write the add-on to look through a website and saying what bits and what's it, bits and bobs. See, I'm trying to talk
so
about
I
it
didn't
needs.
I didn't use any scrapers. What I did is I had I had in the main XML, in the main py.py, it just basically scraped the website HTML. So it made a HTTP connection or HTTPS connection, exploded the content into HTML, which is what scrapers do, and then they look for particular bits of data and then match on that using regular expressions and then pull out the link. So I was pulling out the title, the length of the video, not the length of anything else, the name, the video URL itself, and then a thumbnail, and then presenting it back into organized way that Kodi would read it. I'm explaining things that you guys already know.
I got
There's
you.
lots of people in here that do way more crazy things than I do. Some of the stuff that Seaman does is
You
just
keep saying
above me.
you keep saying pulling out, Carl, and I'm having a hard time following.
Seaman says I never do that. Hence the reason he's got 10 kids.
Really? You have 10 kids?
I have 2. No, I have 2.
I was gonna be like, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I have
So
2, and they
fucking
just
old.
started school this week, and I had that really horrible thing of having to deal with. So my kids are 7 and 4, and my daughter's 7, and she's beautiful, and I love her to pieces. But she's just had this thing this week where she wanted to go play with kids, and they were like, "No, you can't come play with us. You're different." What do you mean she's different? Oh, you're more like a boy because you play computer games, and she got really upset about it, and I took that quite personally.
Yeah.
So I was a bit all over the place this week, to be honest, about trying to understand how kids can come up with that, and they're 7 years old.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Wow.
I think about when we were kids, we think about how we were made fun of for all kinds of stuff as boys. I mean,
Yeah.
there was it happens, and some girls I know. Well, Blue, she was all into through her whole school, or her whole school career, or through all of her schooling, she was always an athlete. She was always athlete. She was all into sports, like all year long. Well, then they're like, oh, well, you got to be gay because you're into sports. And she's like, no, I like guys, but can I like sports too? So people put stereotypes on a lot of that stuff for whatever reason. Again, I think it's just sometimes it's easier to build yourself up if you're knocking somebody else down, and
She's great though. She's cracking. She's getting really interested in things as well. She started to ask me questions like, "Daddy, how do you put this film on Plex?" All right, well, I do this, and now she's got her own login to my Discord,
There you
and she
go.
she requests films and stuff and filling up my Plex box.
Oh man.
Look what
On
you
her way.
started.
Well, we're using Requester, Requester on Discord,
Yeah,
linked
I've
into
seen
Overseer.
that. I've seen where some of them are doing the on Discord where you can
Yeah.
go in and put in that
Yeah,
code to
it
request
works really well. It uses Requester, but then talks to Overseer, because then Overseer, you've only got one endpoint to talk to, and then Overseer talks to Sonar and Radar, and it just
Yep.
fills it in. But the thing
Right.
I've been playing with recently, I saw you guys talking about Real to Grid, is I've been doing the whole streaming Plex over Real to Grid.
Yeah.
You told me about that. You told me
Yeah.
that you were.
I've been waiting to see something on that because
I've been
you know.
so busy, dude. I'm so sorry, but yeah, it works. It's just it's not easy, and it's not stable. And I had a couple of issues matching content, but yeah, the idea being that you know, I hook. I run this container called Plex the Grid, which essentially just fires out a request to Real to Grid via
Right.
the indexes, and then gets the torrent and stores it in the Real to Grid account, and then Plex to Grid mounts it as a local file in the file system. So in a similar way, like our
It's
clone
still
was
pulling
doing
from the
with
cloud,
Google.
though. It's pulling from the RD cloud.
Yeah, so
Or-
in the same way that our clone was doing with
Mhm.
the Google Drives, you know, you've got a remote file system, you mounted it local, and what was happening, it was mounting the Real to Grid file system locally, and Plex would then go, oh, you've got this film, great, and then it would play it and stream it essentially from Real to Grid instead of having to download it. So your media library was actually really tiny, and you could run Plex on pretty much anything really small.
Yeah, because all the content's coming. All the content's coming offline.
But
Now,
what does that do for your people that are on your server? Can they still get to request anything that they would want?
Yeah, of course they can. Yeah, it works in exactly the same way. All you're doing is you're replacing the file system. So traditional Plex would use hard drive space or spindle space on your SATA or your SSD or your SAS, whatever drive you've got. All this does is it mounts the file system over the internet into Real to Grid.
So I got a question. So all right, so because Real to Grid really doesn't have a search engine, you have to use another place to get magnet links. So
yes, so
are you using another?
Yeah, so inside Plex the Grid, it's got a number of popular indexes.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So it's got the indexers, which are like your scrapers per se.
Yeah, yeah. And then what you do is you present them, and you then give the details to Overseer, and then Overseer sends the request through, and then it goes right. Okay, off it goes, and then it goes and gets the file, stores it in the local Real to Grid in the cloud, and that then presents itself as a local file to your machine over Plex to Grid, and then it allows you to play it as if it was on your hard drive. So for all intents and purposes, you could store thousands and thousands of films on a really small machine. Obviously, it uses the internet, and you know, if the content isn't, you know, if Real to Grid is down or it's not working very well, then your Plex library is going to be offline.
Right. It has to be available It has to be available to them for you to be able to. The content isn't on your device.
I'm still messing with it, and I'm creating a guide. I've got a couple of people asking me for, you know, like a video on how to set it up and a guide. And I've actually gone out and become a blogger, so I now have a new website that I'm building just for my tech feedback, and I'm building a proper how-to guide and a video, because there's quite a few people in the Streaming Matters Telegram group that have asked for a video, and the guys have just apologized that I haven't got to you yet, but I plan on having a proper walkthrough and how it works, and also my own scripts to make it work really easily, because the setup, it took me 3 attempts to get it working right.
Yeah.
And I had to reformat my server 3 times to make it work.
No.
So yeah.
Well, that is a cool. I mean, again, that's a
Mm,
cool thing, and I mean, I understand what it's trying to do. I mean, I see the process of what it's doing, and that's why I was saying, where's to get the magnet link? Well, it's got the indexers. Well, then there's your magnet links, and then basically it's kicking it over to Real to Brid. Hey, Real to Brid, I want this magnet link. Real to Brid says, all right, boom, here you go. And as long as it's not having to do the download to the cloud, if it's already, say, if it's a popular thing, it's already. The Brid already has
there,
it out there.
So exactly, yeah.
So
and it does
it's
all
ready
that.
to go.
It follows all of that. So this is a good alternative to obviously Google now closing up the unlimited file storage in Google Drive.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you have to pay for Real to Brid. And I'm guessing at some point there is going to be a theoretical limit on how many movies or TV shows you can, or how much content you can store in your Real to Brid library.
But see, I don't think. But think about it. I don't think you're storing anything in your library. It's almost like bookmarks.
Yeah.
Because those are like just bookmarks. You know what I mean? Because those could be removed for whatever. There's numerous reasons. There could be a takedown for a certain link, and even though it's in your library, it could be gone, and you click it, and it says, "Oh, it's unavailable," because it's been removed. Because to me, those are just like bookmarks, because you can go into your Real to Brid account right now and see your history and your downloads kind of thing. So they're there, but they're there, but they're not there. It's just like, oh, this was this movie. Oh, this is this TV show. So
yeah,
the only reason I would see is this issue would be with RD getting upset that you're hitting it so much. If you were person, but there's other people using it. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a Plex seller, then that probably isn't the right thing for you. But if you're a personal at-home user like you, all being who loves film and loves a TV series,
it'll give me so much more time again.
and you have less hard drive space. It would work just fine, and you can use it alongside existing hard drive
with
space.
my existing stuff. Yeah.
So you can be like, oh, do you know what? This folder here is going to be my Real to Brid folder, and essentially you mount that across the internet, and it's pretty cool.
Cool.
And it syncs into all of the requesters, the overseers, Sonar, Radar, Bazaar, File Manager, for subtitles. It does all of that stuff, and it all works.
And see, I'm thinking of it, so you could run this off base like a super small device with very little storage. Because all of the storage is on the cloud. Now, yes, if the internet's down, you're SOL. If Real to Brid is down, you're SOL. But if those things were running, you would see a library of stuff, and you could access that library without having lots of hard drives. And I'm thinking if you had like a Raspberry Pi 4, take a Raspberry Pi 4, boom, stick it on there, you don't even have to have a big card in it, enough to run the files. And like you said, you got to have Sonar and Overseer, Radar, run those. And it's doing it because it's just grabbing it and it's just pushing it through to your device to watch it, your TV.
So I used Sonar and Radar that were not installed on that device as well. So my Sonar and Radar were used on my seed box, and all I did was add different endpoints to Sonar and Radar through Requester, and then it just went, oh yeah, no problem, here you go. Because all it cares about is where's your Plex library, where's your machine, and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since I've properly looked at the instructions, so I'm kind of being a bit vague.
Yeah, no, I know, 100%.
It just sort of goes, well, where's Plex? Okay, Plex is there, fine. What's the folder structure? Okay, fine. And then off it goes. So yeah, all of the regular stuff works. But my daughter's getting into that. She's like asking me questions. She's like, Daddy, how does that work? I'm like, well, do this. And so I've set up, I bought a really neat little device off Amazon. a couple of weeks back, which is the same size as an Intel NUC, and it uses an Intel 12th Gen C series processor. It's got 16 gig of RAM and a 500 gig SSD in it. And I bought it for the children, and it cost me £160. It was, and it's a B-Link. It's a B-Link system, and it runs Windows 11, and it's brilliant. And so I've got Discord set up on there for them so that they can, request a film or whatever. But she knows that if she's requested something, she's watching it. She's going to watch it. Otherwise, don't request. But she's putting all these, I don't know how to explain what are they, cat girl and ladybug or some stuff.
Yeah, the things you want to mess with. Hey, all right. So you got that other people with my Plex already have automated requests. Yeah, because people, if you're running a Plex server, it can be a pain in the butt. So, well, it's going to run through some of the people running up here. Solo Man, who knows what's happened to him? I'm not even. We're not going to go there. Mitch passed away last that I heard. I heard he had passed away. So,
oh, wow.
Anyway, Mitch's place. That's been a couple years back though. That I heard that he had passed away. I was running through some of these. You had some stuff that was starred.
Okay.
Come on, guys. We want some questions. We want questions.
Well, anyone using an Apple TV with Kodi?
There's a few people. I have some new information about this. So Apple TV. Here's something that not many people know. I mean, you might have heard it, but the VPN technology is coming to Apple TV very, 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 very soon. I'm not going to say how I know, but I know, and I will put my house on it. So very, very shortly, Apple TVs will have working VPN solutions. So if you are an Apple TV user and you need to bypass any restrictions on your internet, guess what? You'll be able to do it very, 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 very soon. I've seen the demo. I've seen how it works, and it works really well.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, I don't do anything Apple unless I'm eating an apple. That's the only Apple I do. Sorry, I just opened my beer and it just foamed up all over my desk. It was super cold.
What are we sponsored by today?
Yeah, we're sponsored by Creemore. Creemore today. Get yourself a Creemore.
It looked like. I mean, I don't know if you guys have got this. It looked like cream soda.
No, this ain't cream. This is actually a beer. It's just a lower IBU beer. I like it. So yeah, I don't use any Apple products. They're just too constrictive.
But do you really use Kodi on your phone, Todd?
I have used it. I don't use it as it's on there. It's on there right now. But I very rarely have I sat somewhere watching it. I have, but I'm talking once a year. If I'm stuck at I've been at sitting in line at the waiting to get my car work done. I have
Plex on your phone,
right?
No, I don't.
You don't have Plex on your phone?
I do.
You don't? Me too.
I do, but I don't use it. I don't.
I would use that over anything because I know I'm going to continue on with my list.
Absolutely.
Does that mean that C-Man is an Apple user? Are you an iPhone user?
I am an iPhone guy all the way. I'm not.
I gotta remove. I gotta remove him from the channel. Gotta remove him.
Yeah, take me out of this shit. As far as a PC, no, I'm not. But
Orbin, what are you? Are you Android?
I'm PC guy. PC guy through and through forever.
Well, what about your phone?
Oh, phone is Plex. Plex on my phone. I run any Plex app.
No, but what's your operating system? Is what he's asking.
Android?
Oh, Android.
Oh.
You young kids. You young kids are about the Apple.
Us
old folks ain't about an Apple. It's you young kids.
Go with that Apple crap.
So
we use the argument of to be phones.
Yeah, the argument of which is better an Android or an iPhone is about as much use as saying, well, I like a red car and I like a yellow car, and because it's red, it's better. It doesn't matter. They're both the same thing. The only difference between an
You
Android
can
phone and
control
an
everything
iPhone,
on an Android phone.
Yeah, it's
yes,
the
but there's a
permissions.
risk with that. There's a risk with that, right? So look at the market. How many Android phones are there in the market?
A majority.
A majority, right? So there's probably what 30 different makes of phone,
Oh, yeah.
but there's one
But-
iPhone.
Right. There's
So
one
the
iPhone.
operating system is exclusive to one device. It's fine tuned to one device. It has less risk of it being faulty or failing or whatever because it's tested on one device and it's made for one device.
It's
Whereas
not.
And
you've
it's
got
That's not even the issue
Samsung,
for me. That's not the issue
virtually
to me.
Samsung's
unhackable.
version.
But the issue
Virtually,
to
yeah.
me is the issue to me is that they have their to install anything to sideload anything
Mhm.
on a Apple is a pain in the butt if you
Yep.
can, because you
They
can't
don't wanna
install
let you.
everything on an Apple phone.
But what do you
But-
want to sideload it for? What do you want to sideload?
Yeah,
There's all kinds of
exactly.
stuff I want to sideload that
What?
forever that there's lots of stuff that they don't. So there, a lot of the of my IPTV different applications. It's like, oh, doesn't work on Android.
No.
No,
That's not
no,
just
doesn't work.
That's,
Doesn't work.
no. Smarters works fine.
Well, okay, well, it's smarter. Well, I use TV.
Smarters is there.
Oh, look at my wife brought me.
Oh, that's amazing.
This is
nice.
she just made a banana bread
With a banana on top.
Look at cream cheese frosting.
Mhm.
You should
Bringing
keep
you a
her.
snack.
I'm she has become very domesticated. I'm
See, man,
Hey,
when
Go
you
blue.
use your phone, right? Do you pick your phone up and go, "I'm going to make a phone call, or I'm going to send an iMessage, or a text message, or a WhatsApp, or something," and then do you put your phone down, or do you pick your phone up and go, "Do you know what? I want to sideload something completely random that I know nothing about, that's not been validated."
oh,
that's
this
not
is
been
a security
tested,
guy. There's a
that's not been
security guy.
tested on my device, which potentially accesses my
The
bank
only thing
account,
I
my
use my
email.
phone for, I use my phone for paying bills, calling, texting, and I feel like I am 100% more secure with Apple than I am with Google. And I have
Yes.
everything safeguarded, all my credit cards, PayPal, all that. And yes, but I use my phone for a phone. That's it.
Yeah.
I don't
I
sideload
have an
shit.
Android phone as well, by the way, guys. Before everyone starts hating on me, but
Uh,
it is.
They're all gonna
I
hate
have,
me after this.
No,
I have,
yeah.
but
you got it's a good point though. You made a good point.
with an Android device, you've got so many variants of Android just in itself. You've got the Google version, you've got the AOSP version, you've got the version without, you've got Huawei's version, you've got Samsung's version, which has got Knox built in, and you've got all these variants that are going on. And do you really know what's underneath the hood? Yes, you can go to XDA, and yes, you can download a ROM that someone's made in their bedroom and go, "Do you know what? I'm going to try that because it looks really pretty." And you're going to break the warranty on your phone by installing that. And then you're going to install your bank account app, and you're going to start paying your bills through your mobile app. But who knows what's going on in the background?
That is true.
Apple, at least they, despite how sneaky they are in the world and the media and whatever, they do guarantee that your phone is safe. Your phone is secure. In the event of anything that's going to happen, it's not going to happen to an iPhone. And yes, they're expensive, and yes, they look great, and they are really, really expensive. And you can go and get the same phone for a lot less on an Android phone, but do you really trust it?
But would you really? Why do you really trust Apple? Do you really think that they're not that nice? That there's not stuff going on in the background with them?
Millions and millions of people can't be wrong, Albin.
You're gonna try to
Oven,
load your own
think of how
music.
many people have tried to break into people's phones that have died that are Apples. They can't get in.
Right.
There is no way.
Yeah.
I mean,
Still
I'm
don't
just
trust them
saying.
enough. I still don't trust them. Yeah, you
And,
know
and
what I
there's
mean?
there's some
Really?
good comments here. You've got something. It's not your device. You don't have control of what you put on it. That's true to a point. Yes, it's Apple's operating system, and yes, it has phone homes and stuff like that. But
Mm-hmm.
again, it's red car, yellow car. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If you're happy with an iPhone, use an iPhone.
Yeah,
As long as you don't
I
install crap on
agree.
it. I'm not a brainwashed Apple head. I'm a tech guy that loves Apple.
Look at Peter.
I am
I'm,
too.
I mean,
just
both
say,
my kids are Apple people, and I walk around the school and I see more Apple phones than I see Android
can
phones
I just
because
say that I'm talking to you now on an Apple Mac, iPad, an Apple laptop with Apple
Mhm.
AirPods in, with my phone that's in my hand and my iPad that's on charge next to me.
yeah,
Oh.
there is a. I do understand the part where O'Neill's talking about security. That's a valid point because you can't install just anything. Then there is more checks and balances. When you can sideload, then it does put more onus on you. But I am a person. I prefer that I trust me and what I want to do. Then
Mhm.
I want to wait for Apple to give the approval for it.
Right.
I would prefer that I want that control. I want, when I get in my car, I want the control of what my car does. I don't want to wait for Apple to say, "Oh, it's okay to go down that street."
Okay to start the street. Yeah.
Yeah, and,
So
and you're absolutely right. When you have an Android phone and especially if you work with like ASOP, which is the Android's AOSP,
Security.
Android Open
Right.
Source Project,
Okay.
and you take a phone and you rewrite it with the open source Android, you are in control of what you've got to put on there. But
Mhm.
then you override that security when you start to sideload apps in there that haven't come from the Play Store. There's,
yep.
Yeah.
Apple are guilty of it as well. They have let apps through that they potentially shouldn't have allowed through.
Mhm.
But the Play Store, it's easier to get apps through than it is on Apple. The technology that you write Android apps in is easier for people to learn than it is for people to learn an Apple app to write.
Right.
They're
Yeah.
slightly different languages, but it's easier to exploit. I mean, we've done it all ourselves, right? If we're using a TV service that we haven't paid for, we've taken an Android app, we've exploded it, rewritten the URL to hard code it, changed an image, re-signed it, and then suddenly we've got our own branded IPTV app that isn't.
We see how many smarter apps like that.
Mhm.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and that's all they are. They're just
Yeah.
are apps that have been decompiled
Yep.
with APK tool or whatever it was,
Mhm.
and then put back together and then jar signed, and suddenly you've got an app that can be installed without any warnings on a device.
Yep.
Now, if you can get that then through and do something else with it and then put it straight through the Play Store or F-Droid or whatever it is,
Yep.
you've got the potential of causing some risk to people's devices. And yes, there are a lot of people out there that want to build their own ROMs, and they're making things work for them. I have a guy at work that's very much tinfoil hat and runs his own ROM that he's baked. But you still have to install your own apps. Southern Tech Girl, React, Vue.js, Angular with the iconic framework to build an Android app, an Apple app, same mechanics. Yeah, you're talking more PWAs for them inside the Swift frameworks as well. You look at an Android app, it's more Jar these days. It's more Java than it is anything else. Whereas an Apple app is more Swift these days. But yes, Vue, Angular, React, even Node.js backends can work inside apps as well and make them work. I've done a couple of myself.
Well, and I think one of your points on this is that when you do sideload things, other items could be installed, other scripts, other
Mhm.
things that aren't advertised. So you install one app, and we've seen that through the Play Store where there has been malicious applications that said that they were one thing, but actually doing other things on the back end, even with you not even knowing. Your phone's sitting there and it's running and hitting websites to monetize certain websites to show hits to get cash, get AdSense money. So those kind of things, or even running Bitcoin back in the day where that would, when that was beneficial for people. So yes, there is the opportunity. There is that risk. So you have to, if you're side loading things where you get the APK, it's not always as advertised. And that's why with Apple, things really having to go through the Apple store, not that opportunity to sideload, does make it a safer um, environment for most people. But to me, I'd
Mm,
rather have that
mm,
choice. That's what I want. I want the choice. If
Yeah.
I make a bad choice, I mean, I back in the
yeah.
LimeWire days, I made a lot of bad choices back in
Mhm.
LimeWire. And guess
link,
what? I
link,
learned.
Right.
link,
We
link
learned,
apart
right?
in the end.exe.
Yeah, I didn't have to reformat my computer, but so many times before I learned.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but for the average user, it may or
Yeah.
not
For
be.
me, I think it was that, there were no Apple servers.
Yeah,
Okay. So no matter what PC I had, I had a server I was connecting to, and Apple wasn't. And then everyone said, "Oh, Apple's so great. They're so great." Well, what are you connecting to? Either going to connect to another Apple, or you're going to need a server in between there somewhere.
yeah.
That's
Uh,
how I grew up.
well, hey, let me jump over
Mm-mm.
here just for a minute, where
Yeah,
we'll try to finish up
yeah.
one of these questions that I had in here, which was from M Haven.
Hmm.
Hold on, let me make this a little bigger so that you guys can read it. Is YouTube API add-on working with an issue? There are some YouTube add-ons that will have an what's it say? Exceeds. What's it say?
Oh,
See, it'll
um,
say
It
exceeds.
exceeds daily quota.
Yeah,
yeah.
there you go.
Daily
So
quota.
one of the things is it depends on which version of the YouTube add-ons that you have installed. There is one of the ones that I have been using for a while now, and I have not ran into the issue. And this is in the what's it Anapanic repository. Other people do have some of the same version. It's the 7.0.2 alpha. uh, I have been running that without
Yes.
any reading, have any too much. What did you say? Exceeding um,
Quota
issue.
limit.
Yeah, the quota. I have
Daily
not ran.
quota.
So it depends on what that is. Is it's YouTube gives an API so many hits. Once it hits so many times, it's been hit in that one day. It says, "Hey, you've reached your limit." Uh, so if you're using some versions of the YouTube add-on, its API has reached a limit and you can't reach no more. So when I've been using this version, and again, Cman has it, other repositories have this version, we haven't been running into that issue. So I don't see that problem, but I know in the past it used to be a really bad problem, but not so much lately using this version. Some of those other versions.
Again on
So
the YouTube the YouTube thing with K19 is that some
mhm.
add-ons pull as a dependency. So just per se, mine won't work because it's pulling the alpha 7.02. It won't work on 19
Because it wants a
because
lower
19 is not,
lower version.
it wants a lower version. Correct. And mine
Mm,
pulls as dependency.
okay. So the add-on, your add-on is needing a dependency that's higher level than what the 19
It's
version. If
it's
I'm understanding
yeah,
right.
but you can always downgrade it. You can always downgrade it to the K version, which is not being updated. That's why there's the 7. That's why there's the alpha version out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this was happening a lot. What was it, about a year ago, year and a half ago? This was very commonplace. We haven't seen it much since I changed to this. I have yet to see the exceeding the limit on this version, but it depends on what you're running. So that was one of the questions that was asked in our Streaming Matters room. Somebody was running into a problem, and so they need to just check into which version of YouTube is installed on your device to see if that's running into their problem. The other question we had that came up, and again, these are questions that were posted in the Streaming Matters room, and we were kind of pulling over the last couple weeks. Firestick's not playing some live add-on PVRs. So I'm not going to name some of the add-ons that have a PVR EPG function, but there's been some where some people said that there was issues on it. I have not seen it. Again, if as long as you're able to get the input stream adaptive,
Yeah.
making sure that you have those updated, those are always the sticky point when you're using some of those live TV add-ons, especially EPG, PVR. Because those are dependencies. If you look at the add-on, it'll say it needs input stream adaptive. If you give it some time to make sure that it's updated and installed, I shouldn't say updated, I should just say installed, because that's the problem. If it gets it installed, then you usually can install it. I have not seen a problem with some of those add-ons running PVR, the EPG setup. I talked about it on the last show. Simple client with the PVR with a couple add-ons that we've talked about in the rooms on our Telegram room. I mean, I am amazed how well some of those channels work. I mean, in the EPG and the PVR, I mean, it just loads. I mean, you do add some time on the front end load. They're 100% it's going to load it's going to be some time, but you're not paying for it. So if you can't wait for a little time to not pay anything, well then F you. I mean, you're either going to pay or you're going to spend some time. So if you can't wait 30 seconds or a minute for it to load the EPG because you're like, it's not loading quick. Well, then you know what? Go pay for something. You know,
the EPG is just an XML file as well. So it just needs to be served from somewhere and it's either just a web server or it's generated on the fly based on what's playing right now. With channels loading quicker as well, the technology's got better since Extreme Codes was taken down. There have been people that have forked their own version of Extreme Codes, and that's got considerably better for channel zapping, which is where you would on traditional box go up and down the channel and just very quickly see what's on. That's become so good now with the way that they've handled channel zapping through FFmpeg and the back end utilities. It's just become so quick, and people are really taking advantage of that. When live TV and PVR live TV came out first in Kodi 12 and 13, it was so slow. It was so buggy, so discriminate. It was so. It either worked or it just didn't work. And the default answer that you had with people when they kept saying it's buffering was always like, Kodi's not a time machine. This is streaming in real time. You just have to accept that. And now the technology is so better. It works really, really well.
Yeah, it shocks me. It shocks me how well it worked. And I talked about it a few shows back. And again, I'm not and I apologize to some of the add-ons for not giving them credit, because as O'Neill talked about, I think of back when remember with Stalker, we used to be able to load up Stalker, because remember when at one point it was free and this and that. We used to be able to load that up into Kodi, and oh my God, you're waiting 4 or 5 minutes for the damn thing to load, and then it would be slow. You're like navigating through the thing, it'd be all slow, and so I'd be forever. I was like, don't bother with it. You have your live TV content application. That's your live TV. You want to use Kodi, then use Kodi for I call it your DVR function, but don't mix them. But now, as O'Neill said, the technology has jumped. And when I went back and installed some of these and ran them, I was just like, holy shit, how good this is compared to what it used to be. And I actually did that little test build. That was more of a, the dabs shield build. Just I want to see if it worked, and
It's
I'm
also
like,
down to the
holy
people
smoke.
that run the add-ons and where they're finding them and where they're sourcing the streams from. You know, they spend a lot of time looking for reliable, fast streams.
Yeah.
And then you remember back in the day, we used to have that thing of people stealing streams and then
Oh yeah,
suddenly they'd
yeah, yeah,
stop
yeah. Oh,
working.
that's still happening.
Was it one of the first people that had a really good live system that then became defunct was BBTS. Do you remember BBTS?
Yes,
He was that
yes.
he had that amazing add-on that just had live channels from everywhere around the world. And everyone used to keep stealing his channels, and then he just went, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm doing all your work for you, and then closed up. But yeah, the people that find the channels are the real heroes. They're doing all the work, looking for things to make things free for you. And yeah, sometimes you might have to wait 10 seconds, 20 seconds for something to load. You're not paying for it. Obviously, we don't. Well, I won't say any live add-ons on here because I don't want them to get any attention that is untoward. But if you ask in the Student Matters channel, I'm sure someone will tell you which one you're looking for. But
we'll direct people. But again, on the show, I try not to, unless add-ons say, "Hey, it's okay to mention who I am," or not who they are, but with the add-on names. I respect the work that goes in. And until I kind of messed around and I was in Bob, I didn't understand the work that went into an add-on until I was in that group. I had no idea the work went into it. And so the respect level went through the roof, because especially when we're talking the one-click links, the direct links in these live streams, you're talking is an everyday job. Every damn day, these guys. And then people are like, well, hey, this link ain't working. And I mean, because there's times, all right, so an add-on can put a link and say, let's say whatever movie or TV show, and it says this link is on https abc.com, whatever, or I shouldn't say abc, whatever URL it is, and they'll sit that URL and say that's where that content is. That can be removed in seconds. Google removes how many links every year? It's like 2 billion a year. That link can be removed and just removed from the system, unknown from the add-on developer. And so when someone complains that, hey, that link ain't working, or that show ain't working, or that movie's not working, it can happen like that. And nobody gets a notice, hey, your final destination is gone, because Kodi only knows that when you say, I want to watch this, and it's at this address, Kodi only knows how to drive to that exact address and say, what's here at this address? And if all of a sudden the house is gone, Kodi says, there's nobody here. It doesn't look around and say, well, it moved down the street. No, it's right here. This is the only thing it knows, is it's supposed to be at this address. So I found a respect for the guys and gals that put together this shit and do it and do that work. And it was too much work for me. I ain't got time for all that.
It's gone miles ahead. These guys have done a great job with it. I mean, like you said, I won't mention anything, but I mean,
they're well worth a check out if you're a person that wants to get into that, wanting to look around, see if that works for you, how it works. Check it out, because it's fun and it works well. If you're use it, I'm a person. I have usually 2 backups to everything I do. So I have, like, if I'm watching live content, I have my live content, and then I also have a couple backups. I have a backup to my backup, and because you never know. I almost did that yesterday, or actually went to my second backup when the NFL game was on last night, because I had some issues with number one. So I went to number two for the NFL game last night. But
what's really annoying about live content is when you pay, like in the UK, right? We have Virgin and Sky as our TV providers, and you paid them £25 to watch an event, but then they crash. They actually crash on the night as well. So you then have to go to you have to go to your illegal content to watch it, and it's like I just paid £25 to watch a fight, but it's happened a number of times now. Virgin Media have crashed when they've been presented the fight, or Sky have crashed when they presented the fight, and then I'm going and using illegal content, and they put it up on Twitter a couple of times going, this is why we use illegal content, because we've got 6 links and you've got 1, and if you're offline and I paid you £30, you're not going to give me my money back. But for £60, I can go and get a year's subscription, get everything else, and this, and obviously because they don't get their cut of it. That's why
they don't get a cut.
They suddenly start taking people to prison.
Yeah. So again, when we're talking about this, so we're finishing up with the OK app thing. So check into what you're using, the application you're using, ask some questions. The add-ons for Kodi repository does a pretty add-ons for Kodi does a pretty good job with that, and I'm not knocking them. The only issue, you got to be careful who you listen to, because anybody can answer a question there. So don't always jump to the first person that answers the question, because maybe they're a dumbass and they're telling you something.
To be fair, there's 4 dumbasses right here, and people
yeah, here we are.
Panel full. Here we are. Yeah, thank you. So, but yeah, do some research. Again, we try to be pretty unbiased in the Streaming Matters room on Telegram. Say, hey, we'll give you options, because we're not here to sell you anything. We're not here to sell you a VPN or sell you an IPTV service. We're not here to do that. You decide. We'll give you some information, and you decide for yourself. So, hey, I do have, and I thought we can roll into one of the topics that we were going to talk about today was about, and we talk about this almost every damn show, is about the number of people cutting the cord, and we have the numbers for the US. I'm sure UK, if we pulled up some of the numbers, we would see somewhat of the same type of direction. But we saw they reported that 2.7 million subscribers so far in 2023 have canceled their subscriptions to Comcast, Spectrum, and DirecTV. So, Comcast and Spectrum being the 2 largest ISPs, internet cable companies in the US, and then DirecTV being the satellite company, are cutting this. And we're seeing this over and over. And this is happening, and it's creating a lot of effects. And so we've got to be prepared for this, because we're seeing a lot of cable companies that are struggling and trying to figure out where they're going to go. I know the cable company here, and I don't know about you guys in some of your area. The cable company here, it is IPTV through the cable company, because when you get a box, there's no DVR. When it says it's DVR, it's not DVR. It's actually cloud-based. You're running basically an Android box, and you're able to access the content to their servers wherever they're at to get the content, because you're able to watch it wherever. You can do it on your phone. And so cable companies are trying to figure out how to survive in this flux, this change of people's viewing, because it used to be everybody watched through cable TV or satellite TV. Now that is changing. And I want to say, what was it, just last month? It was more people don't use cable TV / satellite TV than do. So I think it is amazing how this is changing. But what this is creating is a money problem, because the cable companies pay the broadcasters, your ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, Warner Brothers, Disney. They pay that money to them to have the content, and then those companies say, yeah, you can show our content on your cable TV. So since there's so many people pulling away from the cable TV, now the cable companies are going to the broadcaster saying, I can't afford this. And I think we saw one of the things right now in the US is there is a loggerhead of, was it Cox Cable or Charter, which is Spectrum, has basically says we're not going to pay the money that Disney wants for Disney, ESPN, and ABC. We're not going to pay what you're wanting anymore.
Mhm.
And I don't know if any of our people that are watching are Charter customers, but you'll go to an ABC channel and guess what? It'll say this is unavailable, and it'll say give you a spiel. So this is where this is all going. It's because Disney wants $9 of your monthly cable bill just for ESPN. They want $9 just for that channel. Now, not to count the ABC and the Disney. ESPN is costing every subscriber to cable TV $9. No matter if you watch it or don't watch it, it's $9.
Mm.
So what's happening is we're in a shift, kind of like what probably the UK did 5-6 years ago, where the packages are being broken up. Your Sky package, your BET's package, or I should say TNT package now, ain't it,
Yeah.
O'Neill? Because you guys, it went from BT to BT. Was it BT to
TNT.
TNT now?
TNT, yeah.
So here we were one package. You're buying one package. Now it's going to break up, kind of like, all right, you want Sky or you want ESPN, you want this channels. So I think we're going to see a major shakeup in a lot of how regular people, I say regular because I
So
don't think anybody watching our show is our regular, but
where does the problem lie? And you could say, oh, it's the tech company, the streaming company, it's the cable company, or is it the sports is it the sports teams paying Messi, millions and millions?
Yep.
Where does that money come from? It comes from sponsorship. It comes from fans paying to watch it. So if you want people to use your service, reduce your prices. But then, if you've got football players earning millions and you can only watch that person on TNT or ESPN, then, ESPN and TNT can charge what they want to charge in order to allow people to watch it.
Yep. And it's what's happening and for the cable TV company is, let's say your circle of your customer base is this big. So your customer base is this big. Everybody paying $9. Let's just use ESPN for example.
Mhm.
The customer base is this big. Everybody pays $9 to have ESPN, just that one channel. So and this has been happening for 5, 6, 7 years, that number has decreased. So as the number gets smaller and smaller, the amount of people to pay in has gotten smaller. So Disney is not going to say, well, and I'm just going to throw out a number. Last contract, we accepted $1 billion to access to, let's say, Charter. We sold ESPN to Charter. They could use it for $1 billion. Now that the less customers, so now Charter has less people. Disney's not going to say, well, you got less customers. We're going to pull it back. Let's just say you're, 750 million. No, Disney's going to say, well, last time we were 1 billion, inflation. So we're going to we actually charge you more. So they're going to want more, but there's less people to pull from. So the numbers just don't work. So the cable companies are saying, wait a minute. We can't keep going to our customers because our customers are already raising hell and we're losing customers because our prices have been trying to increase to cover whatever expenses that Warner Brothers or Disney or whoever wants to pay for these channels. We keep putting it out, but we're getting less customers. And as we get less customers, we can't do it because the money's going out. So we are at a point because the companies are not going to go back and say, well, we'll accept less because, as you said, the sports, which is a very large driver, sports franchises, sports, the college stuff, all that, they expect a lot of money, and you're already getting so much. They're not going to take less. Nobody's taking a pay cut over the last few years. They've all went up. Everybody wants more money.
Yep.
So it's got to come from somewhere. So it keeps coming down to the cable companies, satellite companies. And now the satellite companies and cable companies are like, we're at a point we can't do this no more. We
Have you
can't.
seen the list of companies that Disney owns?
Oh, yeah. Well, I've seen some of them. I know some of the companies they own.
So they own Fox and all of the Fox branded channels. So Fox
they own
Sports.
ABC. They own ABC, and they own they own ABC and they own ESPN. But then they own certain local
network.
in
So
the
according
US.
to the infographic I've got in front of me now,
Okay.
they own
Okay.
20th Century Fox, FX. They've got ownership in Sky from Britain.
Yep.
National Geographic, Fox Sports Networks. Then obviously the 20th Century Fox and Fox Studios and all that kind of stuff. But then on the other side, obviously they've got all the MCU and Marvel stuff, Pixar, all the theatrical stuff, Disney, ABC. Then they own A&E, Crime Investigation, FYI, History, Vice, ESPN, and then obviously ESPN isn't just ESPN. It's got 15.
There's no branches of it.
Yeah.
So Disney in itself are huge, and they own so much.
Yeah, but see, the problem with that is so Disney, and in the past, I'll say DirecTV. So we talked about this last year. Disney and DirecTV butted heads. DirecTV said they weren't going to pay what Disney was wanting because Disney says we want to sell. So when they go to DirecTV or even these cable companies, they're like, okay, you want our package? So you got to buy all the stations. You got to get like Carl just said, you got the A&E, you got the history, you got the ESPN. So and then ESPN or Disney throws in some of those bullshit channels that are lower costs and say, oh, well, you're gonna have to pay 50 cents for this station too, or for this, I'll say this channel. So then next thing you know, now Disney is, let's just off the top of my head, let's say that Disney is $50 of your cable bill every month. Just Disney for whatever channels it owns, because it owns so many. Like O'Neill just pointed out, how many it owns. It has this clump. So Disney has been strong arming the cable companies over and over, saying you got to pay it because your customers, you can't turn off A&E or the History Channel or ESPN from your customers, because your customers are going to raise hell and then they're going to go somewhere else. So you got to pay it. So the cable company says, all right, fine, we'll pay it. Well, guess where the money to make up for the increased price is going to come from? It's going to come from the customer. So what's happening now, we're seeing Charter is said, we're not paying it. We're not paying what you're asking now. But ESPN now has pushed forward. It's going to push forward its ESPN standalone. And I'm kind of confused. I thought the ESPN app was all the ESPN channels, but I don't, after doing some reading, I don't think it is. It's ESPN Plus. It gives you some of the extras or their archive stuff, but not always the live what's showing on ESPN right now. Disney is going to push forward with, if you buy that ESPN package, the ESPN app, let's call it the ESPN app, you're going to be able to get the live content that's showing right now as well as the other stuff. There's where Disney's going to go. And I was looking through this article, and what it was saying is, so your cable bill is $9 average. $9 goes to ESPN or for ESPN on your cable bill. Most likely when ESPN, if it becomes its own standalone application, live content's coming on right now, it's going to be like $22-ish, because people that don't watch ESPN that have cable TV are paying the $9 every month. Now you're only going to be having people that want ESPN. Does that make sense? So they've got to increase the price because you're not going to have as many people in the pie to pull from. So when this happens, some people say, well, I'd rather just pay for the little bits and bobs. The price is going to go up because you're going to be paying this person and that person, this person and that person. And that's what's, happening with the streaming world. And we're seeing a lot of these cable companies trying to figure out where do we still make money and still can pay and stay competitive, because that's where they can't.
And we need to invest to make sure we can deliver and improve people's service and do all that kind of stuff.
You think local keeps up your fucking lines. Local is who keeps your lines running down the damn street. Disney's not paying for no damn lines to be strewn through the town.
People's viewing people's viewing routines have changed.
Yes.
Right. I think people have experienced, obviously, 2 years of it. We had 2 really shit years, recently, and people have experienced that. Actually, I quite like my family. I might spend a bit more time with them. They're not often sat in front of the TV.
Yeah.
They're out there with their family, enjoying themselves, or they're working really hard, or because of another reason, they're having to work 2, maybe 3 jobs, or work longer, and so they're not. Live TV just isn't really what people are watching anymore. So people are going to more on-demand solutions, and that's where your Disney Pluses, your Netflixes, your Primes, and then your ESPNs and all that kind of stuff with their archives come into play. But there is still that social thing of sitting around on a Sunday or a Saturday and the game's on and you want to watch it with your friends, and that happens. But
think about this. All right, so my kids, for example, they're in their late 20s. My kids don't watch cable TV. They do not watch any. Neither one of them have cable TV. They watch everything on demand on a site type of service, whatever they're wanting to watch. The generation that was I'm going to sit down and pay the cable company. I'm going to sit down and watch whatever's on, ABC, CBS, NBC. The people of that age are my age or older. They're dying. They're going away. Those numbers of people are decreasing. So when you think about the business model that, hey, they're going to just sit there and watch whatever's on there, and they'll watch all the commercials, they'll watch all that stuff. No, the people now, the generation of people that's not going to sit and watch that, they want to click on, I want to watch what I want to watch when I want to watch it, that's the generation that's growing. So when we think about cable TV and they say, cable TV numbers are going down. Well, of course, because we got cable cord cutters and we just have less of the people that are going to pay that money and just accept it. I remember when I first started paying for fucking cable TV, it was $39 a month.
You guys are lucky. You literally just have that one bill to pay. We have to pay to own it.
Yes, but see, well, that's your TV tax stuff. But we used to only pay the one bill, and it was $39 a month. That was my cable TV. I had all my cable channels. Now I'm not counting HBO or Showtime; those were separate always. But that's what you paid. I've got family members that are paying close to $200 a month to have cable TV, and it's like $200 a month because they want to have the Paramount and they want to watch the HBO and they want to. It's like, holy shit! When did But I've been out of that loop. I didn't know. But
and you get free Netflix with it as well, or free Spotify.
Yeah. So this is headed in that direction. I mean, it's picking up speed. I feel like.
Yep, it is.
Yeah, I think my TV package costs me 105 a month, but I have the service in 3 rooms, all of the channels, but I also have 1 gigabit internet as well with that.
Oh, okay. So that your internet's included on that, and you pay what?
So I pay £105 a month.
Okay. So well, that's not. So
Okay, that's not bad.
so you're paying for
Yeah.
because that
But
internet's
no,
in
but
that,
you're
so you got
still
to figure
paying
that's a
for
big chunk.
something else, though.
But
What else?
I
How
also
much is the
still
tax?
pay for. So my TV, so the TV license is only if you're going to watch or record live TV on. It goes to the BBC, but the TV license says if you watch or record live TV, you on any channel or service, you have to have a TV license.
Yeah.
You don't need a TV license if you use Netflix or Disney Plus, or if you use All4 or Amazon Prime or use YouTube or DVD. That costs £159 per household per year, and it's £53 if you have a black and white TV. I mean, who has a black and white TV these days?
I know. I got one on my boombox, you know.
Everywhere. But yeah, it's so I mean, we kind of have to pay if we watch it, and it's even if you don't watch it. And my dad used to work for the TV license. I don't talk to him anymore, but not because he worked for them, but he used to be one of the guys that used to go around in the old television vans.
Oh,
It would pinpoint the signal to work out who had or who didn't have a TV license based on their little printout. And then as things became more digital and such, he was one of the guys that took people to court in the South and was like,
yeah. We watched a movie about that. We watched a movie. We watched a movie that was actually based on a real story that where the guy was fighting it, and he says,
I still
I don't
can't
have
accept
that.
it.
He put that little thing on his TV, so it was like he says, I can't even get the local channels, and they're like, wow. And he says, you see that on there? I can't see those, and I don't want to pay for them.
Yeah, it used to be if you could receive a UHF signal, you had to pay.
Wow.
And then as the streaming evolved, they changed it. Yeah. But you mentioned that Charter have gone to like an IPTV style service.
Yes,
as well.
yes.
Sky have gone that route as well now. So Sky have something called Sky Stream, which is instead of using the traditional satellite on 28.8 megahertz Firebird, whatever it was for the satellite roaming the skies, they're now using an online service. Mm-hmm. But in order to use it, you've got to have a minimum of 20 megabit per second, 20 meg broadband speed, which means you've got to have Sky broadband, and Sky broadband's useless anyway. But you just have this little really tiny box that is the size of like an Android MX box that just connects to their upstream service and gives you all the TV channels. Someone's going to break that. Someone is absolutely going to exploit the crap out of that and, bring that back. Thanks, Eddie, for doing the translation. 105, 130 US dollars, 178 Canadian, 220 Australian if you're that way inclined. Mm-hmm. But yeah, they've done that. But also Sky have also got a TV as well now. So Sky have a TV called the Sky Glass, which is a TV with it all built in. Again, doesn't use an aerial and a satellite dish. Yeah. So we're going down that route at the moment.
A lot of companies are going that way. And again, like Spectrum, actually, there was an article, and I don't think I saved. I think I went back. Spectrum was going to go to not being cable, as in cable TV, like to coax, but doing it through the internet. And that's I work. What was it? It's like 6 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago, Alvin. We had an article that basically there was a cable company there in the U.S. out New England or somewhere like that basically they were done with it. Here, if you have an old cable box, let's say a DVR, your DVR big, your TiVo box. If you have an old one, right? So if you have one of those, fine, you can keep it. But as soon as you have to upgrade, you get one of those Android boxes, because that's what we did when we upgraded our internet. We went to the 1 gig, and as soon as we did that, you need to get one of the new boxes. And we were like, not a big deal. My mother-in-law she watched the live TV. We didn't. So we got the boxes, and she has complained constantly because she's like, it ain't as good as the old one. But that's where a lot of cable companies are going to try to shift
Yep.
to try to save on hardware as well as
Right.
as money. And I don't know. To me, it's always you got to adapt.
We
Mhm.
shop
Doesn't
online. We live online. We talk online. Why
Right,
would we
but
not watch TV online?
I know, but to take away that box from someone that you can, have your own DVR inside the house. At least when power was out, or you lost your
your internet.
cable, your internet, or anything like that, you were able to still use it to watch
Yep.
your shows that you saved. Yeah, they're really making things hard for
Yeah,
people.
someone didn't think about that, did they? Let's give you all these streaming services. Oh, but when the internet stops,
Hmm.
Not our problem.
yeah.
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 So hey, the next topic I wanted to bring up, I think this is probably a topic that Carl would be able to help us discuss.
Oh yeah.
So LastPass, and we talked about this last year. Me and Alvin, we talked about this when
Hmm.
LastPass. There was evidence that LastPass had breach. There was a possible breach. LastPass said, "No, there's no breach. We're good." There was report after report after report of people saying, "Hey, all of my shit, all of my passwords and usernames that's on people have been accessing my account, and all of that stuff's been saved on LastPass." And guess what? I in LastPass was like, "Ain't us. Don't know what you've been doing." But people are like,
Hmm.
"Hey, they can't access all of my accounts. If you have a breach at one company, but it can't be all of them."
Right.
And then finally, after months of time went by, LastPass says, "Well, we did have a small breach." And come to find out, did have a breach. They still won't admit it to how big of a breach it was. And then they also downplay about how much information. Now, LastPass, for anybody that doesn't pay attention or doesn't know, LastPass is a place where you can store all of your username and passwords. So it's a one place. It's a one-stop shop. It can hold all of your username and passwords. So if you go to whatever website, it automatically grabs your username and password, sticks it in there, and it saves it. So it just makes it easier for people. LastPass argued and said, "No, we did not have a breach." Well, after months, they did have a breach.
Hmm.
They've downplayed it. And still, at this time, it's been a year later, LastPass is still not quite fixed the problem and has not actually addressed all of their problem when you're having these types of breaches. And I
Hmm.
think when I was reading through the article, what it was talking about is the when LastPass first started, you didn't have to have a very difficult password. You could have a very simple password. But as we know, having more characters is a safer password. If you keep your password just a bunch of letters, especially a name, that's easy for somebody to hack into. But as you add numbers and symbols and all kinds of capitals, lowercase, it becomes more difficult. So when you used to set up LastPass, you could set up your initial password with something very simple. So it's just some word, a name, and you
Hmm.
could set it up. Well, that made it very easy for someone to get into it. And once they got into it, it's like once they had the combination to get into the safe, anything that's inside that safe, all your passwords are accessed. They can have
Yep.
access to all of them.
Hmm.
So it's we've talked about that. Alban calls it protect your neck.
Yep. Check your neck.
Um, you got to be careful, like where we're keeping all these passwords and what passwords you use. Because a lot
Hmm.
of times people think, "Oh, I'll just use my dog's name,"
No.
or "I'll use my birthday," or "I'll use, you know, the I'll use the name I've been using this password for 10 years."
Mhm.
You know, that's not the safest way to go. And again, with LastPass not encouraging people to upgrade their passwords, not making or even kind of pushing early users to
Mhm.
upgrade their password. If you
Right.
had a simple password early on, LastPass said, "Okay, you can keep that." instead of saying, "Hey, it's not safe for you to have a little
Hmm.
six letter word as your
Right.
password. You need to go to 12 digits or 12 characters." Um, so I mean, what you're
You know
Seaman,
me.
what you
Okay.
guys think about with these kind of breaches and all that kind of
So
stuff?
Seaman dropped off. He apologized. He
Oh,
Yeah.
has to go. He
Yeah.
had to go.
Uh,
So
you know.
please,
Go
Orvin,
ahead.
you go first. No, please, Orvin, you go. This is your
No.
show, mate.
Well, no, it's not my show. It's Dad's. He
You're
I'm
part of the
I'm the
furniture. You're always
I'm the there to look pretty.
ah,
I always use my multi-pass like I always say. So, all of my passwords are different. They're really long and encrypted. It's the only thing you can do, to somehow protect myself. Because people don't realize how many passwords that you actually have. I have to have over 600 passwords at least. It's crazy. Every website you go to nowadays, oh, well, they need to, protect themselves, and they force you to make an account, and the next thing that site's been hacked, and all you have to do is just change one password. There's no need to have to change every password that you have, if every site that you have.
yeah.
Multi-pass people.
yeah, and Auburn. No, I don't know, O'Neill, if you ever seen multipass. Is basically it's a
Yeah, the link is in
USB.
the side there.
He hooks it hooks up onto his PC. I mean, it is
Yeah.
it's a software that runs on his PC that's on a
Well,
USB.
the software, you don't need that software to use the device. But it hooks up to, for the Bluetooth to give the password, but their software, you don't have to keep it on the machine.
Okay.
I've not seen
Is it?
it. I'm looking at it
Okay.
now. It looks quite
Okay.
cool.
Yeah.
I used to use YubiKeys, but I don't use them anymore.
Okay. Uh-huh.
That's a physical key that you
See.
insert into a device, and then
Yep.
Right.
it would use the credential saved on the key to authenticate as me. But that
Hmm.
thing looks nice. I might actually have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
You got to check it out.
Yeah, he does a
I'm
little
happy
knock
with
on the
me.
desk, little knock.
Yeah, I do. I knock on the desk, and there it logs me in. You know.
But yeah, it is a lot like those well, it's a USB key kind of because you
Yeah.
plug it in
Hmm.
yeah,
because it does plug into your PC, correct, Alban?
Yeah, it does plug in PC,
Yep. So you
and it
have that
works
plugged
with
in.
Bluetooth also. So you
Yep.
can use it for Bluetooth for a computer or your phone also. Does
Yep.
work with your phone. I don't know about those Apple phones, but it works with your phone.
I'm
Not
not
sure
even gonna.
about them.
I'm not even gonna buy it. I'm not. We've had Bluetooth for about 6 months now. It's really cool. We kind of
Yeah.
pioneered it. It's amazing.
That new
So
technology.
this LastPass breach was quite a serious one because when you think about it, LastPass is a service designed to prevent you
Mhm.
from being hacked, right? Or
Right.
at least help you being to prevent being hacked by giving you the ability to safeguard your
Mhm.
passwords or allow you to create complex passwords or use two-factor authentication or built-in.
Right.
I used to be a LastPass user. I had a premium account. I enjoyed the software. I liked what it gave me.
Mhm.
When the breach happened, I closed my LastPass account down and moved to another provider.
Right.
Part of the incident happened because of a remote worker, a
Mhm.
DevOps engineer working from home who had
Right.
access to things that, as an engineer, to complete his job, he had access to do. Got his machine compromised, and through the exfiltration of his machine to the LastPass network, they were able to get backups and other things and other types of data. It happens all the time. It's not
Yeah.
just that. But the reason this one made the news, obviously, is because yes, they denied it for such a long time. But what happens in a breach is this, right? So the policy for a breach depends on the region in which you operate. In the UK, we have a time period to announce a breach, and it's like within 72 hours, depending on the type of organization. If we're a financial organization, we have less than 72 hours to announce that there's been a breach, and we have to announce that to someone called the ICO. It's when you become a company and you attribute to certain standards like ISO 27001 or 9001, you basically confirm that you are in control of your assets, control of your data, control of your backups and your solutions, and you will report any findings in the event of finding. So what would happen is, if a company detects a breach, the internal policies kick in, and that's the first thing is, right, can we prevent it from going any further? Can we stop it from moving laterally? You know, what is it that people have found? Several access, find out what people have found, and start to do a root cause analysis. They then alert any regulatory requirements that they have based on their contractual obligations to either the government, the local organizations, or the businesses that they work with. They then usually get a third-party company in. So they usually get someone in like Mandiant, who are probably one of the best out there at the moment. And what Mandiant will do is they'll look at all of the information that is presented, logs, systems, the way that the system was working, what type of attack vectors were in place, what the security is right now, that kind of thing. And they'll work out how the attacker infiltrated the market, infiltrated the systems. It can take a long time to do. And sometimes it can be very quick and very easy because, you know, they've left a digital trail. But these people are very smart. They're not leaving trails, or they're trying not to leave trails. They'll be quite elusive to how they got in. But companies like Mandiant will sit there and they'll do the observations. They'll understand what's going on. But when you've been hacked, no matter what type of organization you are, you've just had a severe attack on your brand. Your brand is not as worth as much as it was before. You know, if you've just had data compromised, people are not going to trust you anymore. And so businesses find it really hard to recover from that. If you obviously have, you know, credit card information or personal data stored in that vault like people did inside LastPass, suddenly those people were panicking and started to go, "Rush, I've got to change all of my information. I've got to go forward and change everything," and they're going, put in their bank accounts and change credit card information because potentially it was available. What the breach, what some websites are saying one thing, other websites are saying the other, but some websites are saying that the LastPass breach, they had access to the backups, but the backups were encrypted. They're encrypted using LastPass's digital certificates, which were not extracted in the breach, and therefore they weren't able to actually decompile the backups in order to be able to get the data out of it. But people are not going to listen to that. All they're going to see is LastPass hacked. Mm-hmm. Suddenly your brand and your share price have gone. People's faith in your business has disappeared. They're not going to use you anymore. I use Keeper, and I use a 2FA system called Odysee, which is just, you know, another way of getting access codes when I need to. So if I log into an app, for example, I log in with my username and my complex password that I pull from Keeper once I've authed into Keeper in my browser. And then it asks me for a 2FA code, a 6-digit code, which comes from Odysee, which rotates every 30 seconds. That's how I validate who I am. You can use physical keys like that one that you've got, Albin, which looks really nice. You might have to invest in that. You've also got things like YubiKey as well, and then things on your phone. You know, you've got the biometrics for your face, or you've got your fingerprint on Android, and these things are designed to increase the security because you can't clone someone's face. Yes, you can take a picture in the early days, and we were able to get past it with pictures, but now you can't. Fingerprints are supposed to be a lot harder to clone, and the regular person isn't going to have that. But that's there. So, you know, from a brand perspective, you've lost all of your customers' faith, and so recovery is going to be very difficult. I think the recoverability of a company such as LastPass from a hack, regardless of how big it is going to be very, very challenging. And I suspect that they will either make it or they'll fold. Someone will come along and make them up. someone buy the stuff or buy the tech or buy whatever from you, because they will find it very difficult to recover.
Yeah. Well, and I think that part of I think with to me, I think part of LastPass problem on this was the slow to respond and slow to acknowledge what and how much was shared or leaked. And so
That's possibly
when
to
you
do
get
with the examination that the third party company came in and
Okay.
had to do.
Okay. Because it makes it as a end user, if you're trusting what someone says and they say, well, your information wasn't leaked, and then a month or two later,
Mhm.
well,
Oh,
your
it
information
might have
might
been.
have been leaked, and
Yep.
then, well, your
It
information
was.
was leaked. So it's a part of, if someone lies to you or is not upfront. Whereas a lot of companies, when we see data breaches, a lot of times you will see, we've had a data breach. You'll get an email saying, "Hey, you know you're going to want to change your passwords. You're going to want to do X, Y, Z. Do
Mhm.
these things to protect yourself." And
Yep.
that, to me, it would be better if you acknowledge up front than to say, let's just see how this goes. Let's see
Mhm.
what the investigation shows. To me, it's like a it's a slow
Yeah.
rip of a band-aid. You
Yep.
know, you'd much rather quick rip it off and all right, now we know what we got to deal with, instead of, we'll do a little bit today, we'll do a little bit tomorrow, tell you a little bit
Mhm.
later. And to me, I do get what O'Neill's saying, where maybe they were doing an investigation, how much information was leaked, how much was encrypted, how much was not encrypted.
Mhm.
It just, it kind of made it a slow pull. It made it that slow thing to where this company, eh, it's it sells itself as your protection. It sells
Mhm.
itself as, we're here to keep you safe, to keep your password safe. And then, oh, we fumbled on the actual thing that we said that we were going to do, and
Yeah.
we weren't quite upfront on what the damage was
Uh-huh.
to you as we went. So now you've been a year finding out what may or may not been leaked. Well, then
That you've
once
been
someone
paying
lies,
for.
yeah, you 100% been paying for it. And the people, when people lie to you, how many times does someone, if someone lies to you, you, it's hard to build that trust back. And then if you find out something else, that they may or may not lied about something else. So to me, uh, it was a handled incorrectly. We talked about, again, we talked about it last year when it first started talking about it. It's like, so many
Mhm.
people are like, how did websites from all different places get leaked? Now, again, on
Mhm.
this part here, it says LastPass encrypts passwords, usernames, a few other days, but some stuff is not encrypted. Your web address, your metadata, and some other information is not encrypted. So what's encrypted, what's not encrypted, what may have been leaked, what not been leaked. To me, it was the slow, not knowing exactly, and still there's still no
Right.
100% definitive answer about
Right.
what's been passed. And I don't use LastPass, so I mean I'm not a customer of it, but it makes me, if I was a person that was using LastPass, it would make you question: do I
Mhm.
continue using their service
No, I wouldn't.
when the one thing that I asked them to keep
It's supposed to, that's
protected they
not what
didn't?
and I'm paying for it? That,
Yeah,
there's just no way.
yeah.
Fool me once, shame on me.
Yeah, yeah. And so but this has happened. I didn't save it, but Paramount Plus. So if you're a
Mhm.
Paramount Plus user, you may get an
Yeah.
email saying, "Hey, you need to
Yep.
change your username and password. We had a data breach." And data breaches are happening every single week.
Yep.
It's not going to stop. That's going to
No.
continue because so much stuff is kept out there. And like as O'Neill said, hey, uh, a remote worker or an outside worker can create this breach, and a company, didn't know it until it happens. So,
Right.
we've keeping different passwords, keeping your stuff secure, changing your passwords, having those two ways of verifying who you are. Those are all steps to help protect yourself. I mean, I use two-step verification on a
Yeah.
lot of stuff
Me
because
too.
you know what? It doesn't hurt me for them to send me a text,
Attack. Yeah.
and guess what? I'll reply to it. I don't say it as an email because what happens if they had access to my email? So it's having those extra steps are all to protect your neck, to keep you
Mm-hmm.
safe. Because if you don't, depending on if
True.
we were like we were talking earlier about banking information, or what if you're into cryptocurrency, or
Mm-hmm.
and all that kind of stuff, and all that stuff is available. Uh, you got to. So much is done online. Every
Yeah.
our
Everything is.
fucking phones have
Mm-hmm.
so much information, and if you leave it just sitting out there, who's to say who picks it up or who
Mm-hmm.
jumps in it? You're using the Wi-Fi at the cafe.
Yep.
You're like, fuck, it's free Wi-Fi. It's better than the internet through the cell service. I'll use it.
Nope.
And who's to say who couldn't jump on your damn phone
Mm-hmm.
to be using the Wi-Fi? I don't know. But this again, it was an article that was kind of just to point out that we need to protect our own data. We can't expect someone else to
Yeah.
protect it.
You can't. You can't rely on them.
Yeah,
You know,
you got to protect yourself.
whether you're Android or Apple.
Oh yeah,
You know,
yeah.
because listen,
Regardless.
you know, for an Apple user to say, "Oh, you can't get me. I got an Apple." Well, listen, if you're using LastPass or something like that on a separate device, you know, you're screwed. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
really.
yeah. And again, this article was talking about having, it knew when you had a weak
Hmm.
password,
Yeah.
and it didn't force you or push you, because most people stick with what they already got. Most
Hmm.
people don't change shit.
Right.
They don't change their passwords. They're not going to change unless
Right.
they're forced to do it. And
Hmm.
LastPass
Yeah.
like, we'll leave them with that. So I don't know. It's a protect. You got to protect your information. And when you see that there's a breach on something, change your stuff. Just it's a simple change your password. If
Hmm.
you to be honest, nowadays you've got less to worry about writing all your fucking passwords and usernames sitting on your computer desk at home than you do. There's less risk in my mind, I guess. And
Hmm.
I'll say it as me.
Yeah.
You have less risk of writing all your passwords down and setting it on your damn computer than you
Right.
do using some of the software that's cloud
Yeah.
based.
Yep.
Because at least I know if
Who
someone breaks
walked
into
in the
my
room?
house.
Right.
Or I guess if you have a sketchy family member, you got you got if you got a sketchy family member, you might have to worry about it. But you know what I'm saying? It's easier to have it locally right there. And
Yeah.
we used to say, don't write all those passwords down in a book,
Hmm.
or because it's not safe. Someone got your book.
Hmm.
Now, who's in your house? You got less to worry about than everybody out on the internet trying to find it and
Hmm.
find your username and password. So,
Yeah.
hey, I thought this is close to your heart,
Yeah.
because we're going to talk about
Okay.
the Plex. So
Okay.
what was about this Theater of Dreams grant? Did you?
Okay. Well, do you remember back? Because remember you were just talking before about how the kids today are just they're every app is on their phone. They're all
Mhm,
looking at their
mhm.
phones to even watch anything. Everything that they stream. I can't watch something streaming it on a phone. I just can't do it. It's difficult for me.
Yep.
Although I have the app on my phone, if I'm someplace that I can cast it to something else, I'll do that. But I don't want to watch, a movie or a TV show on my phone. But thinking of that, we're in a time now where these kids have grown up, who are trying to grow up. They don't have what we had, the
Mhm.
memories of going to a real theater to watch a movie, of being able to say, "Hey, it's I remember seeing this movie at this theater or that theater."
Yep.
You remember these things. People go to a theater, and that's where you have it's a Friday night. You get to go out with your friends or your girlfriend, and you get to sit down and watch a movie. And it's not the same today. Sure, a lot of people are doing their own media rooms, but it's different going to a theater. You
100%.
know,
It's different.
it was so different, and you learn to love movies that way. And what Plex is doing is they're having basically a grant that they're going to give out to different theaters. Not a theater that has uh,
Not a
you know,
chain.
not a chain, right? Not a chain. So there are a lot of theaters where people grew up in,
Hmm. Hmm.
them, the whole family, everyone goes to the theater, and they're going to use this money to help out a lot of those theaters, whether they're going to build it up some other different way, but they want to
Yep.
try to bring people back
Yep.
to a theater, which is good. You know,
Yep.
sure we have a lot of things people say, oh well, COVID and all this and that, but something about like a hometown theater.
Yep.
You know, I don't have that anymore. I used to,
Yep.
but the theater that I had for that is gone. Because these big guys took them
Yep.
out. But there was always something. When I see a movie that I've seen in a theater, when I'm watching a movie, it's like it comes right to me the theater that I've seen in
Yep.
it.
Yep.
And thinking about that theater, there were so many things that went into them, and I gotta give Plex the credit for doing this
Yep.
because you know these kids haven't experienced what we did. It was so different. It was so different, and so you can. They're basically saying, okay, Plex users, go out and um, you know let me know what theaters that you
Yep.
would like. If you have a theater that you want to, nominate in this, here you go. And I honor them for that. That's just great.
Yeah.
But we'll have the link down in the bottom later.
Yep.
But it's something great that they do,
Yeah,
I
and
believe.
I think and one of the things I thought was interesting in this article the things again, Plex is doing this to
Mhm.
try to help local theaters, not
Yeah,
again, like
not the
Alban
big
said, they're
guys.
not talking about no chains. We're not,
Hmm.
we're not. It's not a chain theaters like your local theater. And one of the things it says almost half the people surveyed had their first date
Yeah,
at a movie theater.
yeah.
Now I'm of an age.
Me
I went
too.
on dates to a movie theater.
Yeah, me too.
43% had their first kiss at the
Hmm.
movie theater.
Yeah.
28% said they worked at the movie theater.
Hmm.
So that is it makes a smile to my face. Even I remember going to the theater.
Hmm.
You remember holding hands
Yeah.
if you got to go on a
Yep.
date, and if
Hmm.
she actually held your hand, because some girls
Yeah.
weren't so, and not some girls
Right.
weren't like that, and they
Uh
wouldn't like to
huh.
hold your hand or the
Hmm.
things that the local theaters. I actually sent a link to this
Uh
to
huh.
my theater back home.
Okay,
Uh,
great.
and hold on a second. I'm gonna let me see if I can. Um, let me see.
See, lucky you, you had places like that. Here,
All right,
New York,
so
not like you guys are lucky. Because I know, like,
down
yeah,
south, they had this. So this theater was back down in North Carolina, and this is what it looks like right now. And to
wow.
be honest, this theater has done a fabulous job in
Hmm.
in what they have done is their movies are like $4.
Hmm.
Now, right now, it was showing Little Mermaid, which is not
Right,
a first run movie, right? They're
right,
not going to show
right.
you first run, but
Hmm.
they're going to show other things that are like right when it's getting ready to hit DVD or something like that. In
Yeah,
downtown Graham, the seats are not all the seats are great,
right. I
but
understand.
it's
Hmm.
I think it's $2 for a popcorn, $2 for a
Wow.
drink. Refills are free, so you can get
Hmm.
all the refills you want, and so you could actually take your whole family to the damn
Yep.
movies,
Hmm.
spend $40. You get
Yeah.
into the theater, you get
Into the
everybody
theater.
a snack,
Yep.
and everybody can have a great time. And it even had the balcony. And I actually sent a message to their Facebook group, and I said, "You guys need to check this out, the link to that Plex thing, because that's the kind of theaters that this Plex thing is trying to help, trying to help these small
I'd rather save those
companies."
small guys because
Yes.
those theaters, a lot of work went into a lot of those theaters. Because the
Oh,
theater that I used to go to was a theater here in New York called the Valencia Theater,
yeah.
and I'm talking I was there even all through the '70s. They would show all the Bruce Lee and Run Run Shaw karate stuff on a Saturday afternoon. It was great. The place was great, and but it's gone, and
Yep.
I can still remember that theater like nobody's business because
Yep.
it was great growing up in that.
And again, this I think it's kudos to Plex for
Yeah,
offering
yeah,
this. I mean, it's a and you can post on this article. It gives you where you can nominate
yeah, yeah.
your own theater, and I think it's a great thing. I mean, there is no theater. We have a chain theater, but here in
Mhm,
this town. But again, I thought to me when the 1 gram theater, when they did it was $4 to get in, $2 popcorn, $2 drink, and refills. It was so fun. I would go to it just to have a good time. I want to say if anybody looks this up, you can look up. It actually has like a recording where they're showing and they do like uh, it's like a funny call. You can call it, and the guy that does the telling you what's going to show that day is kind of funny. Now it is a lot. Like it's went up inflation a whole $5 now.
mhm,
Um, but look at if you took you and the wife and a couple kids, so you're $16 to get in, and then you're buying some popcorn drinks. Like I said, under $40, you guys are going to the movies.
mhm.
And again, it's not first run stuff, it's second run,
Right,
so
right.
got Little Mermaid going on.
You're not
Here's
doing
where
that
they
in the
do.
UK for less than 25
Yeah. Yeah, I
per
mean,
person.
even
It's so
here
expensive.
here for us to go to the movies, I think when Shannon and I went to see, I think it was the last Thor, we went to the
It
Thor.
was
12
Barbie. You,
bucks.
you
No.
went to see Barbie, didn't you?
Mm,
I will be watching that this weekend most likely, but not here. I think it was $12 for us to get in.
mhm.
But then what gets you is the damn popcorn and drinks
Popcorn and
was
everything.
30
Yep.
fucking dollars for a
Mhm.
popcorn and 2 drinks was $30.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, "What?" It's like,
And it,
doesn't even make sense.
and do you guys have like those special theaters out by you where they'll bring you your stuff?
Not here. Back in
I
North
got that
Carolina,
here.
in North
I got
Carolina, we did. We did,
it's
but it was not
insane.
no $5. I mean,
No, hell no,
it was regular
hell
price, and
no.
yes,
Yep,
you
it's
could
crazy.
you could order from your seat, or they would bring you, and you had a beer that they
Mhm.
could bring. But again,
Yeah.
that was but
We don't
that
have
wasn't
that.
this.
We do have recliners, like, and they're
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Yeah,
comfy
yeah.
cinemas.
yeah.
The other
This
ones are
Graham
just like they're
Cinema,
so
these Graham
tight.
Cinemas, the only comfy seat you got. Like if you're a recliner, that's because the chair's broke. Because there would
Mhm.
you'd sit down in
Yeah,
some of them, and
yeah.
the damn thing would just like clunk, and you'd oh, that one's broke. Move to
Nope,
the next
that
one,
one's broke.
please.
Yep.
Move to the next. But yeah, so yeah, I think it's a great thing that Plex is doing. So folks, if you guys have a local theater,
You,
I
you,
think that's
you
a great
guys though,
thing.
right? Your popcorn is made there, isn't it, in the cinema?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ours
yeah.
isn't. Ours comes in bags and it's
Bad.
Ugh,
emptied
what
into the
kind of
machine.
shit?
Yeah,
What's happening in the UK? What
We
the
don't we
hell?
don't
yeah.
we don't make popcorn. We buy it in from China.
Ugh.
Oh, same place they get their tea.
We buy
Oh
everything from
Jesus.
China these days.
All right. All right. So, Alvin, I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna go to. We
We
got to go.
have no, we have the choice for next week.
Yeah, we
You
do.
want to
Well, you
take
want
care
to
of
do the
that?
choice, and I got to grab because I had your link, and I'll grab that. Go. Let's go to.
Mhm.
Let's do the spin of the wheel. Let's do
Okay,
spin
hold
of the
on.
wheel. So
Let's
let me
get that
back
up
off
real
of here.
quick.
Stop sharing. And so next week we got player pass. You want to go ahead and take the
Yeah,
floor on this, Alvin?
yeah, we got player pass next week. And what we normally do with Player Pass, we choose a movie and we actually we spin a wheel and then we get to watch it and we talk about it next week. We'll also be playing it in the uh, Player Pass room. But as you see, we're gonna pick a movie. And we're gonna
You saw I
it's
was
a
watching. I was
special
getting
week.
my links ready
Yep,
for the next
yep.
segment.
And and we decided, we're gonna pick Dab's favorite movie.
That's fuck.
What
No,
he's
that
dying to
is
watch,
that
the movie
fucking
he just
beach.
wants
This
to
is
watch.
beach's shit. This has got to be beach.
And
This is some shit beach would
the
pull.
movie next
Ugh,
week will be Barbie.
we're not watching.
Yeah,
That's.
Barbie. Yeah, no, you don't want to watch Barbie. We have to
I
do
thought
something
we had real choices. Not to
we
say that I
do.
won't watch Barbie. I will watch Barbie. But
Oh gosh, sure you
that
will.
looks like a damn that looks like some shit Beach would pull off. I bet you Beach was
It's
behind this right
funny.
here.
It's funny though.
Cause yeah, but hey, I will watch Barbie.
Uh-huh.
No lie, I will watch it, but I watch it here. And I
Okay.
do want other choices though. There were other choices.
We got other choices for you here. I still try to take care of you.
I know
Yeah,
you're just busting my chops.
of
And
course. It's more
we're
fun.
2.5 hours in.
Yeah, I
We've
know.
lost Beach. We've lost him. He's 2.5 hours in. He's like, fuck that. I'm out of here.
He's
We
probably playing
have
golf.
yeah, right.
I do need to get that one. Oh,
Yeah.
damn, look at
Oh.
Charles. Damn, throwing stones, bro. Barbie's tall. Yeah, she is probably taller than me.
Margot
okay.
Robbie is pretty Barbie though.
Oh, you know what? Margot, she could eat potato chips in my bed. I'm gonna just say it. And I ain't got no.
I'm not eating potato chips and she's in my bed.
Yeah, right.
That's
Yeah,
all I'm
me
saying.
neither.
I'm eating something else.
I'm trying to think.
I won't
There
be
was
eating no potato chips, but chips will be flying. All right.
Cat. All right. So we
Movies
got all right.
next week.
Wait.
We
You
have.
gotta wait. This is still the same Barbie. You got to change the.
Oh, it didn't change. Oh,
No.
I'm sorry. Hold on. I got it.
No, he did change it.
lower
It's
it
still Barbie.
Yeah. He's got to change the tab. That was
There it
still
is.
Barbie.
Barbie.
That's still
Hello,
Barbie.
Barbie. Let's go party.
Yeah. Literally one hit wonder. Aqua.
Yeah.
Oh no, they did that. They did that song for Sliding Doors, didn't they? Yeah.
Barbie face wants the tacos. I'm thinking of a taco. All right, hold on. We're loading.
I don't like tacos.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
There we go.
All right.
All right.
The movies that we have shown on the bottom, but we have Strays, The Flash, Joyride, No Hard Feelings, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, and
What's
the
that?
Appleton Ladies Potato Race.
Wow, I haven't heard of it. I hadn't even seen
You
that.
haven't heard that one? No?
And one of the things we did, all right, so, and this is on me, we said that all movies had to have an IMDb of a 6.5 or higher. Yeah. So anything that fell below 6.5, I said could not hit the wheel. That's on me. Mm-hmm. I said it. So
I'd rather see the 3.0s and above.
No.
Or
have
below,
you guys
actually.
Not reviewed The Flash yet?
No, we didn't watch
it. No, it hasn't hit. It hasn't. We haven't reviewed it.
There's one really good thing. There's two really good things about that film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's where you turn it off.
All right. So, all right, let's spin this
muff.
Let's spin this wheel. Let's see what we got to watch next week. And this will be for next Friday. So hopefully you guys watch it. Hope you watch watch whatever movie and then actually talk about it.
Oh, no. Oh.
What's this? And this is another movie I've never heard of. The Appleton Lady Potato Race.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, look at Beach says the Strays wasn't rated 6.5. They put it on there anyways. I heard that. Actually, I heard Strays was kind of funny. It's adult funny though, but I'll watch it.
So this film's got a 6.3 rating on IMDb.
Oh, it must have dropped. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's Synology is Penny returns to her childhood home of Appleton, where she starts a cultural war after she learns the world-famous potato race awards the women's first place prize a fraction of the men's first place prize. Great. Good luck to you guys.
Well, hey, we're gonna watch it. So that's
Yep.
next Friday. So you guys watch it. And again, not all, to be honest, sometimes watching movies that you're not looking forward to, or that you don't have good expectation to, are worth watching, because sometimes you're surprised. Sometimes there is a surprise. And sometimes I like to watch a movie just to make fun of it the whole time I watch it.
Mm-hmm.
It could
No
I don't
Hard
know which
Feelings
way.
was very good. It was very good, by the way.
No
I
Hard
really
Feelings
enjoyed-
was
I really enjoyed that.
that
No Hard
was
Feelings. I like that one.
that movie was a little bit that's controversial because
Yeah,
the
she's a grown woman
context of
hitting on
that,
a young girl.
and
Uh-huh.
she
Young boy,
well
yeah.
but the thing is
Yeah.
that she's doing it, she's willing to sleep with someone just for monetary reasons, and she's
That's okay,
willing
yeah.
to have sex with someone, and you know what, that's reality.
I'll
Not
give
to
her a
say,
car. She can have a car. It's fine. I'll buy
so
her a house.
Yep.
yeah, it was an interesting concept. When I watched it, I was like,
It was.
Didn't she look really pretty though compared to like
Oh!
her other roles?
Oh,
She
yeah.
looked phenomenally
Oh,
pretty.
yeah.
was
Like the whole
yes,
freckles on her face.
100%.
She looked so
Yeah.
pretty.
But it
Yeah.
was the whole thing. I'm like, how many? And I told Blue she needs to watch that, because I'm like, I like it. I want a woman's point of view, because I have a lot of male opinions that I want to put, and I want to
Uh-huh.
bounce off of her to see. I don't know, try to get an idea where I'm at on that.
Right.
It was a good film. It's
Do you-
funny. It's very funny.
Yeah, it was funny.
Right.
It has a lot of funny parts in it. So, all right. So
Do you
we
have
have
the other site? Do you have
I
the
have-
other site there?
I have your site.
Okay. Okay. Good. All right.
All right, hold on a second. We're rolling to the next segment here. Hold on a second. Abin, check. I don't hear you.
That's because you're on mute, Orbin. 3 years of doing stuff remotely, and we still can't find the mute button.
Yeah, he is on mute. There
Yeah,
you
I'm sorry about that.
go.
I don't know how I went on mute.
I
That
don't know.
segment feature put everyone on mute, by the way.
Yeah.
Put me on mute as well.
Okay. All right. Okay. This site here we have is not always right, and since I'm a grumpy old man now,
That's true.
Now,
this site.
Yeah.
this, this site will. It has not always right. You can type up times that you have an issue with somebody, people who work customer service and stuff like that. And so, like, if you scroll down, you'll see, yeah, right there, that you can read what happened, and it's pretty funny most of the time. I just found this site, and it was pretty funny. I don't know if you want to click up and find something.
Yeah, I was trying to find. I was
shorter.
looking through. There was some that I had one that was real small.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah.
it's about a cut. The part I pulled up was customer service stuff.
Uh-huh.
So anybody
Yeah.
that's been in customer service and dealt with
It-
not such intelligent people and asking,
Uh-huh.
it kind of does give you a giggle.
Right. Did you find one?
I was looking for. All right, here's a smaller one. I go with my friend to the emergency room for support. When we enter, there are quite a few people. One is an older lady in a wheelchair who starts asking me questions, even though I obviously don't work there. The lady says, "Is this the water fountain? Is there a water fountain around here?" Me, I'm not sure. I just got here, but I can look. While my friend is sitting down, I try to help with the slightest distress lady who doesn't have money for the vending machine. I walk around the room where everyone is sitting and check by the bathrooms. I don't see anything. I come across an employee. Me, Excuse me, is there a water fountain? The employee says, not here. No. I find the lady again and apologize again, telling her I haven't found any. 7 hours later, my friend is free to go, and we exit the main ER room on the side of the room opposite where the chairs are, beside the water fountain. Right beside the water fountain. So, but yeah, there's lots of this one was a Mr. Spock where the guy says he goes to one of those Comic-Cons, and so he decides to dress up like Spock, but he doesn't go inside because he doesn't want to pay the price to get inside. And the manager says, the guy says, finally someone recognizes me and says, I mean, all these costumes are amazing, but the anime and the video games that I don't know what they are, what they're supposed to be. But you're Mr. Speck, ain't you? And the guy says, oh, so close. But they have, just things where people have real life experiences and little stories. So it is when I read through some of them, they were kind of funny, especially me working in the public. Sometimes people aren't always the brightest.
Mm-hmm.
So what was this called? Notalwaysright.com.
Yeah.
So I liked it. That was funny. It was a funny site.
Yeah.
I just got recognized. Someone recognized me. Look in the comments.
Up. I got to.
I'm trying to get this.
Years ago. Oh God, yes. That was during a Streaming Matters or a Kodi Matters. I remember. You remember you were on the street?
Yeah, and
I want to say, wasn't that with Andrew though? I don't think Alban. I don't think Alban.
No,
Were you?
I don't know if I was there.
I think
I
Andrew
don't know.
was
I
on
don't think
there.
so.
Or not with you, but he was like on the
show.
show.
Yeah, on the show. I know.
I think that, and you had your live cam going, and you're walking around. Yeah.
And then I went somewhere that you're not supposed to go.
Yes, 100%.
Didn't I just come out of that place actually?
Yes, you guys did, because because you were talking about everyone. It was a happy endings place.
Yeah, it was a happy ending. Apart from my friend who didn't get one.
Yes, that
literally
Peter's right.
Literally cannot get laid in a brothel.
That was live streaming, right? And you were live streaming on your phone and walking down the street. That was funny and great. That was a great time. I was
drunk.
Yeah, you were
very
pretty drunk.
But yes, Peter, that was me. I'd say I've grown up a bit, but I haven't. I've just grown a beard. It's not great. No, I don't do any of that stuff anymore. I'm married.
No, he's married.
Children.
He's a married man now. He's calmed down.
He's
calmed down. Little lip nip. He's fine. He's fine. All right. So we're way over time.
I know we're way over.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead. You want to go ahead and talk about our sporting events for this weekend?
Well, we really don't have there's nothing tonight.
Not tonight. Tomorrow night.
Tomorrow we have the UFC. It's not gone. That's that one. It's going to be
Adesanya.
Israel Adesanya and
Strickland.
John Strickland. I'm trying to find my link for it. Okay.
Oh, Tua.
Tua's
fighting. So he's gonna be drinking from a shoe if he wins.
Drinking from the shoe.
He always drinks. He drinks beer from a shoe if he wins.
Yep. And it could be anybody's shoe. Okay?
Yeah, anybody in the crowd. Anybody. Volkov. He might. We'll see if he wins that.
The main card starts at 10 p.m. The prelims are at 8, and the early prelims are at 6:30. I will be in big screen, so we can watch it. I don't know if you're busy, O'Neill. You try to join us because we have a pisser.
Sometimes it's pretty funny.
Actually going to a barbecue tomorrow night with the family and my brothers that we go festivals with.
Okay.
So my friends just moved house to a really nice large house out in the countryside after working his backside off, and so we're going to go out there and have a barbecue. No drinking though, because I'm driving.
Getting driving with the kids.
Yeah, be safe.
Yeah.
There's lots of NFL on as well, isn't there? As well.
Yeah.
Then the NFL kicks off.
You could also drive with your headset on. Who cares?
I could
You
do.
drunk,
My
have to
wife
say
could do.
nobody says
My
that
wife-
you're gonna be drunk.
Hey, honey, you drive. Turn the
Yeah.
Wi-Fi on my
drunk.
Apple phone.
No, my car's got Wi-Fi.
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
I have an Audi now.
Woo!
Yeah,
That's called money.
that's got money. It's all that Kodi money.
Yeah, all that Kodi money. Yeah, you and me both. That's why I'm living in the mansion. So we kicked off the NFL season yesterday. So last night the Chiefs played the Lions, and the Lions won by a point. So that was a big shocker. We've got a line of games going on tomorrow. So next week I will give some predictions next week. I'm not going to do it this week.
Give any tonight? Okay.
No, because it's 7:40. We've been going for over 2.5 hours. So we're going to go ahead and cut out of here. But lots of games going on. So be sure to support your local teams and watch some of that. Plenty of add-ons will have links to the stuff, or you can hit up Alvin and he'll hook you up. But like, oh wait, what? So lots of sports going on. I'm excited to see some NFL and see this stuff kicking off. I'm ready for.
Well, is there a game tomorrow that you want to see, or
tomorrow? That I really want to see. Let me look. The Steelers and 49ers. I'd like to see that, and I do care about this. The Jets and Buffalo on Monday. That's
okay.
For me, it's the Rams and Seahawks.
Okay.
You think?
I just like the Seahawks outfit. Having spent a week in Seattle, I really enjoyed their kit. I think it was really nice, and the fans quite hot as well. So
I lived in Seattle for about 3 or 4 years, and I'm a Seahawk. I mean, I pull for the Seahawks. They're not. I don't know if that's them this year.
They're good. They're not very good, are they?
Well, they're all right, but I think that to me, the Giants and Buffalo is going to be the game on Monday. The only thing I care about the Steelers, I think the Steelers are going to be underrated going into the year. I think that the Steelers, are going to pull something off this year and really shock people because they've been, not making the playoffs the last few years. I think that I think they're going to do something this year. I think they're going to do a heavy push to because that whole division of they're in the AFC, the AFC East. That's going to be a tough division. That's because that's got Baltimore, and it's going to be tough in that division. I think it's going to be a great time. So I'm looking forward to that game, and definitely that Buffalo and Jets game.
Hold on. And Andrew's here. What's up, brother? I'm just seeing him there now. He just must have gone from work.
I think he said
How you
that
doing?
he did a look up to see what team he should pull for, and I think he said that he was supposed to pull for the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, that's what he said, and that's why I told him he could go through himself.
Yeah, I think this is just gonna be a great game, the Buffalo game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love Buffalo. I think they're a really good team, but after watching Hard Knocks this year, it just makes you kind of pull for the Jets after watching Hard Knocks.
Yep, and the Hard Knock life is right. I've been a Jets fan, and
so I'm pulling for him, and even though I don't like Aaron Rodgers, I'll still pull for him.
I don't get it. It's not football. You're not using your feet.
Well, they do when they kick.
Yeah, well, no, there's running with the ball. It's not football.
No, there's a lot
of. It's like a softer version of rugby.
Yeah, it is. It is. All right, so that's tomorrow. That starts on Sunday. So look forward to kicking off of the NFL season.
But nothing for the college bowl though, because I'll be playing.
There's plenty of college. I will say that one of the college things. Beach will probably be running college football in big screen tomorrow.
Yeah.
because he did that last week with multi games going.
Yeah, there's lots of Kent
Yeah,
State, South Carolina, Northern Arizona versus
Everybody.
Utah Tech.
Oh, yeah.
Penn
There's lots of
State.
the beach with the Jimmy the Greek.
Yeah,
Dabs the geek. I like it.
that's the geek.
I like it. All right. So anything else we got before we head out of here, Bob?
No, I think we're pretty good. It was a long show.
Yeah, a long one. And I got to get rid of some beer. And I think I'm actually gonna do one of my pre-rolls tonight. I
Okay.
got a pre-roll over. I think I'm gonna do one of those tonight too. I got
What's
more
a pre-roll?
marijuana that we can buy here legally.
Oh, you're proper Canadian now.
Yeah. So I think I got one I think I'll do fire that up.
Fire it up.
Oh god.
It's chill out. So all right, O'Neill, thank you for coming on the show and hanging out with us. It was awesome.
Thank you very much for inviting me in. I appreciate it. I apologize to everyone that
Anytime.
I've not been around lately.
You know what? We all got busy.
Showing up here is great. Yeah, because we are all busy.
Yeah,
We
everybody.
we all use Plex. You know?
Yeah.
And hey, when you get that Plex stuff sorted out, you make sure to hit up Auburn, and I'll test it. I'll do some
Yeah, I'll
testing.
test it.
Absolutely. I'll make sure. I've got so much going on. I've been testing it a few times. As I said earlier, I have had to rebuild it 3 times to make sure that it works. But once I've got the guide finished and got my little scripts ready, then by all means, you guys can check it out, and then I'll give you access to that server as well, so you can see it working in the flesh if you don't want to set it up yourself.
100%. Hey, I will say, and this is on Kodi topic, which we talked about that earlier. I didn't notice it. I actually had turned on the option. I didn't forgot I had turned it on. My Finn gave a thing saying 7 days of Debrid is left. As soon as I opened up Kodi,
no kidding.
it popped up across the top. It said 7 days of Debrid left, or 7 days it expires, or something like that. So basically, it told me I got 7 days. I was like, oh, that's the kind of it's like, because how many times you forget, and then it's like, oh, none of them damn links are working.
Or people calling you, oh my, this isn't working.
RD's down. No, it's not. You got to pay your bills. So hey, I saw Mandy. She does some chocolate, so we can buy the chocolates here in town too. Yeah, I'm not the chocolates and the drinks. I've bought some of the drinks, and they're okay. It just feels weird to drink an infused beverage. I don't know. I'd rather smoke it or eat a gummy or something. It just feels weird when I'm drinking or eating a chocolate or something. But I did do some shrooms the other night, and I'll talk about that later on.
Jesus Christ. You've
Legal
changed, man.
It's legal.
Changed.
All legal here, baby.
Yeah, but you've changed.
I know. It's because I don't have to worry about all those tests no more. I don't have to worry about none of that anymore.
Why do you think you're late to getting onto the show?
I didn't do none today. Hey, if I did some of those, it was hard to concentrate. To be honest, but we'll talk about that. All right, so so thanks for guys joining Auburn. Thanks for pulling all of our shit together. I can't do this show without Auburn. Auburn does so much fucking background work and gets all this shit together, and then says, "Dabs, fucking just show the fuck up." But thanks for you guys joining. Watch Appleton. What are we watching? Appleton ladies potato race.
You see, he's starting already, guys. I think everyone knows what I have to go through with you.
I'm waiting. I start talking about these pre-rolls. I'm looking over on the counter.
There we go. The Appleton ladies potato race.
See, I was right. Ladies Appleton potato race. Dyslexic kicks in. So we have that to watch next week. So that'll be on next week, at 6 p.m. East Coast Eastern Standard Time. So we'll be watching that. Let's see. Fingers crossed that it turns out good. So hey, streaming matters to us because streaming matters to you, and we'll see you guys on the next one.